You'd think I'd know how to do this by now, wouldn't you? Oh.
Oh, there you go.
Hello, boys.
Do we all just... Oh, there we go.
How are we doing? This is a special one today. We've got not just myself in today. We've got the boys in the chat. We've got some of the illustrious members of the wonderful, powerful Relics of War community. And today we're going to be doing a Wargaming talk about the state of Wargaming in 2026. What's good? What's bad? Where are we going wrong? Well, what we're doing right, and we're going to sit here and put the world to rights for the next little while. There's a few topics to cover. I've got 12 topics. We'll see if we get through all of them. And they're all just based around the state of wargaming for us to discuss, go through some stuff, and hopefully we'll agree on some things and disagree on other things, so we can have a good little back and forth about all of this. But okay, so who else have we got in the room here? We've got myself, I am Relics, and we've also got Mr. Tweed. Say hello, Mr. Tweed.
Hey.
We've got
fucking part of the furniture at this point.
yeah, absolutely. And we've got the Blood God himself, believe it or not.
How we doing?
And we've got a long-time friend of the channel and friend of myself in real life. We've got Squiddy.
Hey.
So, without further ado, let's get into the first topic, boys, because this one is one that there's no matter what you do, you can't avoid this topic of conversation when it comes to wargaming. Okay, it's a good chunk of most of the online discourse for, I mean, as long as it's been around, really. And that the first topic is prices and pricing. So it's in 2026. It's no what would you say? It's no secret or unknown thing that wargaming is fucking expensive. It's damn fucking expensive, and it's getting more expensive all the fucking time. So I just wanted to talk about some things that are going down recently. And James and Mr. Tweed, I know you guys are probably a bit more clued in on exactly what the fuck went down with this new Baneblade thing that just happened. I think it ended up being worse than anyone expected in the first place.
Yeah, so the whole Baneblade thing, for people who don't know, is GW pulled all the old kits of the Baneblade and then essentially took a sprue out of it and are now selling it back to you. It's ludicrous. It's not even shrinkflation, it's just greed is the best way I can describe it.
I think
it's straight up greed.
Well, with James, oh fuck's sake, 1 pint already.
2 actually, 2.
What? Have I said already?
You've done it twice now.
Alright. Squiddy! Squiddy was the first person who actually made me aware of this, and at the time we thought, it's probably just a reboxing. Let's not go too crazy. Obviously, there was the worst possible thing that could have happened in my mind, which it could have been completely taken away, right? And that would have been a travesty, okay? And then but it's almost the second worst thing that could have happened. They've taken stuff out of the box, increased the price, and then now you have to pay extra for what's in there. And the thing about it is, it's just so unbelievably unnecessary. And I was saying this to Squiddy the other day. I think in modern Games Workshop, they must have a team of guys in one room, and they're just called the fucking squeeze team, and they just sit there all day scheming on what's the next squeeze. How can we just squeeze another fucking CC of fucking blood out these motherfuckers? They've got to spend an inordinate amount of time just thinking about that.
No, the squeeze squad is working hard at the moment.
I think the only thing is we always look at companies like Games Workshop, and what we see is the Warhammer community, the fun stuff, the new models we're excited about. But they're actually still a company,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they do exactly what companies do, and you have a product team or a sales team or something that's like, we still need to make more money because that's what companies do.
Yeah.
We have shareholders that we have to act like that. And it's a real horrible feeling when the company that you really like, because of how they act most of the time, does company things. It's like suing for IP almost. Like it's something that they legally, in some cases, have to do. Like they have to protect their IP because otherwise they lose it under the law. And so they have to do this stuff that's awful.
Yeah,
with them being a publicly traded company, they have to increase their quarterly earnings year on year on year. Otherwise, the people who own the stocks in the company see it as it's becoming less profitable over time, so they're more likely to sell their stocks, which more people sell it now. So that's what they're worried about, and it unfortunately just creates this completely like consumer what's the word? Well, just very negative effect on the consumers of the actual product that the companies are making. The company's making.
Yeah, all this stuff is obviously driven by now the shareholders, obviously, because it's become such a big publicly traded company. But one of the things I saw the other day, and it's still, I still think it's an egregious level of minute nitpicking and squeezing, because just the other day I saw an article, this is very recent news, that they put the prices up because of the American tariffs that have happened in the last year. So the American consumers have felt increased prices, but that are beyond the increase of like inflation or anything. They were specifically increased because of the tariffs. But the tariff charges against Games Workshop's product didn't actually get put through and have in fact been cancelled. And Games Workshop just received a £71 million refund.
Oh.
Yeah. So they whacked the prices up to say, oh, it's for the tariff, and then they've got refunded for all of that amount. So, do we really need to be squeezing people out of their turret sponsons on the Bane Blades? I don't fucking think so.
Well, not only that. So one country put a tariff on them, increasing the cost of them shipping to that one country, and they put the prices up worldwide to be able to make up for that, whilst also increasing the prices in a country providing that, requesting the tariff or requiring it.
Yeah, it is certainly.
Yeah,
certainly
none of that makes sense to me.
No,
just outside of an idea of just pure greed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an opportunity to increase the bottom line, isn't it? Sorry, Mr. Treacle.
It is, but it's not going to be the case of now this has come to light. They're like, all right, now we're going to lower the prices because of the whole tariff debacle. They're just going to keep them now at the same price.
100%.
Yeah. They're never going to go back.
I don't think GW know what decrease in price actually means. I don't think that's in the dictionary that they own.
Decrease the models, you say? Make a $10 5? Let's do it! Get the printers printing!
Well, you see it in all sorts of other things as well. Like when you saw this whole thing when the Ukraine war kicked off, and the world, basically every single entity that sold anyone anything declared, oh, fuel price increases, right? So we're gonna have to ramp prices up on this and that. But these fuel price increases weren't like a mathematically calculated exact reflection of that diminishing resource. It was just that's a good reason. Whack the fucking price up, and everybody did that across everything, and it ain't come down. Even though you see fuel prices have stabilized, or at least dropped down to like midway between where they used to be and where they were at the height of that. So you're right, in whoever said this originally, it's just an excuse, isn't it, really, to whack that price up and keep it there.
I feel like we're all just complaining about capitalism now, and we're just sad that capitalism applies to our plastic soldiers. Yeah. And I am sad that capitalism applies to my plastic soldiers.
Well, you say that, but I'm going to put up another argument to this.
Okay.
Warlord Games exists.
Yeah, well, this was my next segue, Mr. Tweet. I'll let you carry us on.
Well, like, for example, an entire army of about 1,500 points, which is over 250 points of what you need, is £100. You can buy 30 infantry for about £33.
Yeah, it's
And they have regular sales. Like currently, Warlord Games is having a starter sale. So you can get starter armies from all of their stuff, from their Black Sail to Conflict 47, from Bolt Action, with 15% off. GW doesn't do any sales.
no, they've never done any sales.
No.
I heard that
No.
they when they were making the company, they modeled it off of that, like the way that they present prices and present products and the way that they just do their stuff. They modeled themselves after Ann Summers, the lingerie company.
Oh yeah, that was
It's-
on high streets and like shopping malls, all of the shops within those like sort of areas get ranked on customer service and like perception from customers. And them and Summers were always the two companies that were competing for top place, because they modeled, both of them modeled themselves as a bespoke, custom sort of
High
provider.
value item.
Yeah, a high value item, like a luxurious bespoke item.
There's also
No.
Ann Summers never has sales. They might now, but back in the day, they would never have sales, and it was all about like keeping the perceived value of the product as high as you possibly can, and that was one of the things that they kind of adopted, which is really weird for them to adopt a lingerie company's mantra.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like we will die if we don't get our toy soldiers. Like, it is a luxury item that we don't have.
I thought you were about to say we're not going to die if we don't get our lingerie.
I mean,
Yeah, stick to yourself. I need a bit. You know, if I can't keep the doors.
I mean, I would probably go quite crazy, like, I'm not going to lie, but, you know, if I had
Well,
to.
you know, that's a very moderate position to take for somebody who has to pay about 200 quid for a fucking character.
Excuse me, it's $86 dues.
Out of everybody who's bent over the table in this room, you are the furthest over.
I know.
My character is costing $85.
Oh, someone else
Yeah.
in there. Fucking hell. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Yo,
Oh, yeah, sorry, I kind of just slipped in here. I didn't. You were talking. I didn't want to make a disturbance.
Oh, just introduce yourself real quick, just for
Hi,
listen.
I'm Hayden. Not whatever. I'm the Tau guy. That's the important part.
It's the Tau guy!
I'm the resident Tau player and also pretty new to the hobby, so that's kind of what I guess I'm bringing to the table.
Hell yeah, dude. No, you'll be quite valuable to have in there. I think we're all a load of mumbling and fucking moaning old veterans, so it's nice to have somebody in who's a bit more fresh to everything. That's great.
I've been at it for maybe 6 to 8 months. I'm about like 1,000 points. That's about what I've got so far, so I'm still
my
pretty
sweet
fresh.
summer child. So
Yeah, those prices are bad though.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the thing, man. I mean, I count myself very lucky to live in the country where it is the cheapest. That usually isn't the case for any fucking thing else. If you live in the UK, that thing that you're trying to buy is probably more expensive. Warhammer's like one of the only things where it is a bit cheaper, but it being inherently fucking expensive is, yeah, it is what it is.
well, I've actually had this weird chat with a couple of Americans recently, where actually New Zealand prices, if you change dollars to NZ dollars, it's actually cheaper in New Zealand, dollar for dollar. But what I don't know, and I couldn't be bothered trying to find out, was what the comparable income is in those two countries. Whether or not, like, as a percentage of your income, Warhammer is more expensive in New Zealand versus UK or the States.
Yeah, I mean, it's what a lot of it does boil down to is the
Possibly.
buying power of the currency.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
See, I mean, I know nothing about the New Zealand economy, but I always sort of assumed that they were fairly well off in terms of average buying power.
But
yeah, it's kind of
just
like above
it would
average.
just be great if we could get Warhammer and other products for 25% off recommended retail price It's almost like someone has a certain link to it.
Yeah.
And I have to
I wonder where we could get that.
At this point,
Okay,
mate,
we're
I'm
gonna
just
open up.
transfer everything over to you when I get any payouts from this. So
We're gonna. Hang on.
Let's hit the
No,
promo.
you can't segue without my rant. I've got to open a rant about this because this is going back to like GDub being a company for quite a long time now. Do you remember when the rest of the world shipping changed in Games Workshop? Because I remember, because I don't live in the UK. So what happened was, going like 10, 15 years ago now, is that I used to be able to buy. I'd be able to use your affiliate link, buy Games Workshop stuff from a store in the UK and ship it to New Zealand, which is obviously much cheaper. And they actually stopped. They changed all of the contracts to anyone selling Games Workshop that you can only sell within your region. So I cannot go to your affiliate link and buy something from UK and have it shipped to New Zealand to get the pricing.
Oh, really?
That's not good.
Why you bastards?
What if you had a
Sorry?
good friend who was in the United Kingdom and he bought some stuff for you and then shipped it over to
I mean, can't stop that. But like in terms of that pricing discussion, that was actually changed so that countries that are outside can't access the pricing the same.
Yeah, that makes
I mean,
sense.
yes, like if I've got a good friend, I hear what you're saying, but that's a GDub being GDub for like quite a long time.
If you did do that, would that then put the third-party retailer selling to you, who you're then shipping the product to the person like overseas, would that then put the third-party retailer at risk of getting a fine or something from you?
Yeah, I don't know about fines or whatever, but as I understand it, yeah. As I understand it, yeah, they
how
can't
that
do
would
it.
ever become discoverable. Really, it's just another friend sending someone a gift. Really, I don't know.
No, I suppose. I suppose I'm kind of thinking of if somebody started maybe making a business out of doing
right,
that
yeah, I
and
see what
putting
you mean.
like a
Oh, then
4% cut
probably-
on for themselves. Yeah,
Probably, definitely, I'd imagine.
yeah.
So we just hit on it.
Anyway, now you can segue.
Okay. Well, I feel like I've missed the opportunity. Maybe I'll do it at the end, I think. Look, we just touched on it before, and I want to touch on this before we move on to the next thing. Obviously, we've pretty much just been sat here talking about Games Workshop pricing. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about Warlords. Actually, no. Let me just pop something up, because I did have something that I wanted to bring up on screen, which is, it's not just the flat pricing, right? It's not just the flat pricing, right? The bottom line of the price. It's also the way that Games Workshop chooses to bundle stuff and make you pay for it. So I just wanted to pop something up on the screen now, which is something that it just makes me seethe every single time I fucking see it. Okay? And it is this in particular, is this, where is it? Display capture? That one? No, not that one. Window capture. There we go. It is this particular box. This is the Space Marines Honored of the chapter. It might take a little minute for it to pop through if anyone else is watching the stream. But basically, this box contains two fairly decent looking characters. So it's got 3 Blade Guard veterans in it. Some standard bearer who's holding a Poli of Polies, the Judicar, I think, and then some kind of like chaplain guy. Now, my issue with this is it's 105 quid, and it's got 3 random melter guys in it, and otherwise everything in it's kind of locked away. If you want that Judicar dude, you've got to buy this thing. And then you've just got 3 random Blade Guard veterans. You can kind of excuse the Blade Guard veterans, but the fact that I want to buy this, right? But the fact that there's 3 random melter guys in it, and the price is jacked up to 105 quid. What's the fucking thinking behind this? I don't understand this. Who's behind that idea? If they got rid of those melter guys and then dropped the price to like 60 quid, I'd be like, okay, I'll get it now. But like, what the fuck are we doing? And this is another thing. It's just frustrating because it's not just the flat price. Like, price increases are always going to happen across any business. It's the way that they package things and the way that they charge for what they charge. And this is kind of a reason why the Baneblade thing is so frustrating, because, well, just because of that fact, really. Is they're just moving the goalposts rather than it being an actual organic price increase due to real reasons in real life.
I was thinking about the question.
One of the issues.
What I've noticed with the pricing is it feels inconsistent.
Yes,
is what
that's
I've
I'm
noticed.
saying, bro,
Like,
yeah.
I could sit here and talk about blah blah. It's expensive. That's the main point. Everyone gets that. But when I look at it, like, I'm gonna use, again, I'm a Tau guy. All I know is Tau, so I'm gonna use that as examples. Like, I get my infantry squad for $60. That's 70 points. Or I could go and get a tank, one of my hammerheads, for $80. It's $20. I'm getting like twice the plastic and twice the point value. And I'm just trying to figure out where the value is there. Like, what's the reasons there?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes they try to present it as like, oh, your money's buying you like a physical amount of plastic, and some other times it's like, oh, your money's buying you the rarity of this particular sculpt, or the fact that you're only going to buy one of it if it's a named character. Yeah. And then sometimes it's what is it? Sometimes it's like based on
arbitrary,
just arbitrary shit, or the.
I mean, it is. Yeah, it definitely is arbitrary because the cost of the plastic is like pretty minor. I mean, the machine is quite expensive, so that has to be split over X number of boxes, which obviously increases if you're doing like a special character. You sell one to each person, right? But
yeah,
the theory is that even if the plastic was the same between those two kits, they wouldn't sell them the same, because it doesn't make sense to be like, why does my tank that costs twice as many points cost the same amount as my infantry? So the price is jacked up on the tank to make it more, even though it's not significantly more in that instance. It's the same with like your elite troops. Like, you get less in the box, but it costs the same as a 10-man box. So you're getting less for your money, but you're paying more because it's an elite troop.
Yeah. That is how it's been throughout most of the time. But the main thing is, like, I wouldn't mind, like, the price increases. I understand everything's getting more expensive. That's just the nature of things.
Yeah.
The thing I can't excuse is the fact that everything is now just monoposing. You don't get that many bits in the box anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not like where it was before, like, oh, you wanted to get a bunch of, like, special upgrade kits? Go buy the Firstborn Captain box, which was arguably one of the best customizable kits because it came with everything. Yes. You could make multiple captains from it.
Yes, I used to have one of them. It's
I think
sat on my drawers. One of the best boxes. You did, yeah. One of the best boxes came with all the bits. You could make multiple guys out of that if you had like.
And I think that's what we're losing. We're losing that A, customization, and B, quality product. GW is still trying to sell a quality product for a quality price, but it's not been quality for a long time. It's been pretty naff, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
like looking at the new mold line, like the Titus mold lines were horrendous when they came out. It was unbelievably bad. And all this monoposing, it just reminds me of the old starter kits, which were designed for beginners. And it just feels like we're getting that now.
Yeah.
What I will say in their defense on this point is, yes, I do agree with you. There's been a drop in the quality of the offerings in terms of like the posability, the options, which used to be part of the quality of a kit, was how much stuff could you get out of this kit physically. Like you were saying, that Commander box was 10 quid when I bought it for Squiddy when he was 10 years old. And while even back then we were like, oh, that's a bit expensive. Like you say, there's a whole load of bits in there. And now if you buy a character, you're literally, if you've got a spare weapon option after you built the kit, you're kind of in a good place. You're lucky. Where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
You de-rented yourself.
Yeah. Just
well, how much is a sort of a Primaris equivalent to that? How much is one of the myriad Primaris lieutenants that they've brought out now? Are they like 25 to 28 pounds?
Yeah, they're like 20, 25 to 30 quid, really. But I just remembered what I was going to say. And that's the one thing I will say is, despite them being monopose and all that stuff, I do think that still to this day, Games Workshop is releasing the best designed sculpts, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's necessarily because of the quality and the detail of the sculpt. Now, this is something I was talking to Squiddy about the other day, and this is something I want to bring up again later when we talk about 3D printing. As I know, we've got a couple 3D printers in here, so that'll be interesting to talk about. But I feel that, like, if you go on Etsy, for instance, and you have a look at all these different third-party sculpted by some guy, and it's as free as an STL file. Yes, some of them are insanely detailed beyond anything that you'll see from Games Workshop, almost to like a movie quality. But for me, that's not a Warhammer model. And I find myself, when I'm looking on Etsy for instance, I for a long time I've looked for alternates for the Death Corps of Krieg and for various other things, and you see these models that are modeled by some other non-Games Workshop guy to be like a stand-in, and none of them ever really seem to exactly hit what I'm after. And I think that's because of like the inherent unique design language that comes with being a Games Workshop model designer. Like, you can almost always tell, most of the time, 90% of the time, that a model is designed by Games Workshop just by looking at the way that it looks and its design language, if you know what I mean. So I will say that I still think to this day they've got the best miniatures in terms of the actual sculpt and the design of the poses of those models. That's what I will say.
I'll give you that quite
Third
happily.
party in 3D printed Black Templar models are a really good example of that. They're too busy, they're very stylized in a very specific way, but none of them look like they would fit in with any other GW models.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah.
Whereas if you
beautiful model, not a Warhammer
whereas
model.
if you go looking for Tau battle suits, a lot of them look very samurai, which is just not what the Tau art is supposed to look like. But some of them look great.
Yeah.
I've got.
For some reason, people
I've got
have this idea that
and-
Tower is just so samurai.
They're not. They're Chinese.
Yeah, no,
You know,
It's a very cool style.
but that's great, right? I think we've covered we've had a good whinge. We've got our pricing whinge out of the way. That was kind of my intention with that. Front load the whinge about, oh, it's expensive. Right, now let's go on to the next topic, gentlemen. And that topic is, let me get rid of the window capture because that was all I wanted to bring up. So next topic is settings. The good, the bad, the meh. And by settings I mean the lore, the game settings of Warhammer, Warhammer Fantasy, Age of Sigmar, Conflict 47, Trench Crusade, all this kind of stuff. What's good, what's bad, and what's kind of meh at the minute. 40k as a setting is the best known one, really. I mean, obviously. But the problem with sorry, go on, mate.
I was saying, you feel like you would have to say it's like pretty objectively good because it's gotten this far for a reason.
Yeah.
It's objectively a very high quality, in-depth setting with a lot of unique stuff. That's why it's lasted 11 editions.
Yes, I think it's a setting that
Yeah.
it's great. Obviously, it's been around forever. And if you want in depth of lore, there's no alternative really. But I think the one thing that's really a stain for the 40k setting is just the fact that it's just so stagnant. Like, stuff happens, but nothing happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I think that's kind of probably a symptom of it being an addition to a game that has to sell products, and they don't want to get rid of things and kill off characters.
Something major happens, yeah. You can't just overwrite half the universe.
Well, you say they're like not happy to kill off characters. They killed Yarrick.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought when I said that.
And how long did that last?
Yeah. And like, when you go back to some of the old guard books, they've killed off so many unique characters. They've killed off entire armies. The Destroyan Firstborn, the Valhallan Warriors. Gone.
Funnily enough, not
that's a
the
good point,
Cadians.
to be
If
fair.
it was any guard regiment is due to be dead. It's Cadians. You took out their whole planet. That's all of them. They're gone. Where are they still
Even
coming from?
Steel Legion. They got
They're on the rock.
and then just went, oh yeah, you can
They're
play
on the
with
rock,
Krieg Yellow.
remember?
Cadians are the dead, overflogged horse that is still floating through space into every single engagement.
Yes.
That's so guard, yeah, but like guard's whole point is that they die because they're just humans in the fucked up world of 40k. That's the whole point. They die.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you don't.
Oh yeah, my point is, whereas Cadians is if that was just a generic guardsman, I wouldn't care. Like, yes, they die all the time. There's millions of them. They're like packaged in the same armor, all good. But like, they're all specifically Cadians. This planet that blew up like 100 or so years ago, like in the lore, like they should be gone by now.
Yeah.
You realise
I know
there
what
is
you mean.
a new Cadia, right?
They've made a new planet, have they? Of course
No.
they have.
Right?
No,
Well,
they
this is
literally
the thing.
reinhabited
Oh,
a new
they-
planet and just called it New Cadia, essentially.
This is
Basically
the problem.
making whole Abaddon's crusade pointless.
Yeah.
Because
Are
nothing
they
can
not?
ever change.
Are they not living on the asteroids that is now Cadian? Because like when the planet broke and shattered, are they not now inhabiting all of the asteroids that were once Cadia? Or is that just like a couple specific temples?
There's going to be little guys in
I'm just having a look.
screaming at us.
Honestly, the answer to that, realistically, is who gives a shit? Because
Yeah.
So, there you go. So,
there's no fucking stakes in this fucking law.
no. So according
Well,
to the lexicon, New Cadia
Excuse
is a
me.
popular name which has been given to several imperial worlds that Cadia's surviving population has settled upon.
Several.
And we're like,
So
if we
now
weren't
they're
going to sit
really
here
not
and
going
argue.
No, we're not going to go food fermenting.
Yeah, fair enough. If
Say, my
we
God.
were to sit here and argue about the minutiae of the law, then what are we even doing here? Like,
Yeah, true. I mean, it is very much so just made up on the fly now. But I feel like it didn't used to be that way. I feel like the settings kind of stagnate. Obviously, there's just the general like watering down that's happened.
I reckon the watering down is starting to go away again. I think you can tell there's like a CEO change that's happened here. But I watched some recent Warhammer Plus stuff. The Tithes show in particular is like, it's dark. There's this
Right, okay.
whole bit about
That's good
some
to hear.
guardsmen, and they're like, these guardsmen are like fighting off the orcs. It's all, they're like, we're gonna stand for whatever planet I'm on, blah blah blah. And this like strike team comes in, and they're like, sorry, we've been told to tithe all your ammo. So like, oh man, okay, and they argue about it, and eventually they go with the ammo. They fly the ammo over to this administratum planet or building, and they're like, here's our tithe. And they're like, yes, okay. And actually, you've done your tithe, very good. But it can't stay on this platform because it's a bit shaky and the weather's coming in. So can you just tip it all off the side, thanks? And they just leave all these guardsmen to die because they took their ammo off them. And then the admin guy's like, I don't care, you've done your job. We don't need it. Like, it was pretty grim.
That's interesting. I mean, there's definitely something
So-
to be said about there may be that they definitely. I think, especially in eighth edition, you definitely saw they kind of put a little drop of milk in the old tea to get everything a little bit lighter. I think maybe that was to just kind of push it to that bigger market. But I mean, there's something. It makes me wonder how much bigger can 40k really get. I mean, and the thing that they've been pushing for is this Amazon show that Henry Cavill's producing or whatever. And I think they've got
Do
that
we
in the
think
bag
that's
now.
actually
That's
gonna
signed and
happen?
sealed. Oh no, that's signed and sealed. They've just announced who the
Is it?
director is and stuff.
Yeah, Mike, he's one of the writers and producers, Mike Flanagan. But I'm honestly still not convinced that it's actually going to happen. We've waited so long. It could still, yeah. I'm just not convinced, really.
I mean, anything can drop at any
when
point.
I think they're actually properly working on it, and because as far as I know, Mike Flanagan's still contractually like doing some other stuff before he can get to that. So there's still time for things to get in the way, really.
I mean, look at the Blade movie recently from Marvel that just got cut, and that was filming, as far as I don't understand it. They had actors and everything, right? Anything can happen at any point to stop it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
well, to be honest, I don't know if I want it to happen or not at this point. What do you
I'm not
think?
too sure.
I want it to happen. Well, it depends how they do it. I mean, I'm a bit worried with Mike Flanagan. He's supposed to be quite a good writer and director from everything I've heard. So recently, in the last few years, apparently he's gotten very political in a lot of his works, and he said that he wants to add more politics into all of his works, which, as we know,
That's a terrible
always
fucking
works
idea.
exceptionally well, which would be an amazing thing for 40k. But I'm hoping that Henry Cavill is going to be able to use his sort of star power to be able to keep things in line. But at the same time, how much power does he actually have?
Well,
he can very publicly, the power to very publicly separate himself from the project, and that would kill it. So he's got that power, but that would also sort of like ruin a lot of his ties within that sect, and would very much so piss Amazon off. And
it's very much like with Henry Cavill with the Witcher series. Like, he left that because they were making so many changes, and he was trying to fight tooth and nail to keep it closer to the original books that he loved.
Yeah, it's a top G, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
So I don't think Henry Cavill would agree to this unless he saw something. But once again, the proof will be in the pudding. I'm holding my breath, and I'll be interested, but there's also a sense of dread.
Yes, I feel the
I
same.
mean, after the official Warhammer 40k movie that came out a long time ago,
I
can boast that I went to the premiere of that. I went to a premiere.
There was no Warhammer movie in Boston.
No, you're making it up. It never happened. Okay, it never happened.
Yes,
Right,
the
you say
chaplain
that, lads,
definitely didn't cast a spell.
That's one of my comfort watches. That's one of my comfort watch films. I love that thing. Get out of town.
I mean,
Everyone in favour of kicking Relic out, say aye.
I mean, if you want to be comforted by Ultramarines walking around a planet, then yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah, well, if you just squint the whole time, it looks pretty good.
What's this movie? I've never seen this. Do I have to watch
It doesn't exist.
Is it?
But it happened.
It's
No,
called
it's just
Space
making
Marine. It's available on YouTube. It's called Space Marine.
I'm pretty sure
Is it
no
not
one
Space
copyrighted it. No one wants to claim copyright.
It's all.
But to
it's all 3D.
counterpoint that secret level, like that secret level
great.
episode was fucking sublime. So I don't know if we're allowed to swear or not.
Yeah, it was visually really cool.
Like,
I swear all.
Oh, I think I found it.
No, he's gonna watch it now.
I'll watch that on my free time. I'll watch that on my own time.
it should be
Watch
your
it
next
in your
hobby
own
and
time,
watch
and
Relics.
then report back to us.
No, I'll watch it when we're done here, and then I'll let y'all know how good it is.
Yeah,
And don't
well,
forget, we got
it's
excited
amazing.
about this. We got excited because Dan Abnett wrote this.
Did he?
Okay, he was one of the writers. Yeah.
Yes, he
was
did.
Dan Abnett. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yes, I think it was.
So get hyped, buddy.
Dude, it's so
Some
sick,
Ultramarines
man.
walk some places.
Dude, there's more than that. They shoot some guys. Come on.
There really isn't.
No, it's brilliant. I
Getting excited. Getting excited already.
Yeah,
Look,
you're like us. We're gonna build them up. It's so exciting. Best movie ever. I can't believe
No, it's great.
you get to experience
the
it.
gunfights. To be fair, the gunfight where the Chaos Marines are all coming through the fog and they're fighting in the ring. That's a pretty cool scene. Let's be
You've got to
honest.
understand
That
that
is
me and Squiddy first watched this when we were like 12, 13, and that was like the best you could get at
Yeah.
that point, and it was enough. We were like beggars with one apple. When all we had in
What's
the world
that?
was this one apple, and everybody else was like, "Fuck it, that's shit. All you've got is an apple." But to me, this is all I've got. It's this juicy little morsel. So look,
But like, didn't
It's
the
not
Dawn
bad.
of
I should
War
say-
cinematic trailer happen at the sort of same time?
Yes.
Like,
Which one I tell
so
you?
we had
The
like
Age of
Dawn of War 1, I think it was, like the Marine Guard fighting that walks up the hill, and you're like, yeah, go Marine, there's Dreadnought and all this.
yeah, that was
Like, that was around that same time.
Oh god, I
Well,
feel
there was
old
also
now.
the
It
Mark
came out in
Taylor.
2010.
Yeah.
2010.
I was
Jesus.
12.
I would have
Yeah,
been
12 years
like,
old.
I don't know if I had no idea this existed at the time. I would have been like,
Well, this is the thing, right? And I think
Well,
all of us.
I remember
What do you
seeing.
think, mate? Go for it, Squid.
I remember seeing trailers for it, and I spoke about it to my dad, and I must have gone on and on and on about it to my dad. But one day I went over to my older sisters, and my brother-in-law, her husband, had pirated that movie in like 360p on this like DVD, and that's what you and me used to watch it on Relics. It was
Right.
I've watched it again not too long ago on it, and the quality is horrific.
I was gonna say, did watching it in
great.
360p actually make any difference whatsoever?
That was a resolution increase, I think.
Yeah, probably.
It's like, whoa, look how sharp these Marines are.
Fucking hell! There's 9 pixels. I'm used to 6. But look, this is the thing, though, right? This is the thing. Let's be fair. Like the overall setting of 40k and everything about it is so damn good, right? That even some shitey animated thing like that can still bring joy to 12-year-old me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you look at Astartes, you look at all the fan animations and stuff. Dudes don't even have to say a word, and you're glued. 5 episodes. Just fuck, can't wait for the next one to come out because it's so
Astartes
inherently
come out yet?
interesting. What? Sorry.
Is Astartes 2 out yet? Because I remember they did a trailer for Astartes 2 quite a while ago.
No.
So I know they are supposed to be working on it.
That guy's part of the whole Games Workshop thing now because they sent
Yeah.
a thing where you have to join up with us.
Yeah.
So fuck off. So there'll probably be some stuff on Warhammer Plus.
No, it's not yet because I've got Warhammer Plus. It's not there yet.
Oh.
But I also think it's just that guy. He did Astartes 2 by himself, as I understand it. So I feel like it's probably just
Yeah, as far as I know.
him chipping away, taking a long time. Yeah.
It's fucking insane. Okay, well we've definitely covered overall the setting of 40k is on top. It's the best setting of all of them. But I want to just basically gloss over Mr. Tweed, right? Tell us about Trench Crusade, because what's going on with that?
So I'm gonna smother it with love first, and then I'm gonna smother it with hate.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I absolutely love it. The setting for it, for me, definitely reminisces of something of grim dark. Like
I don't look in the cupboard.
everything about it is gruesome to the benign. Like the fact that
I'm gonna stop this in about
Some people
15 minutes, and I'll help you if you haven't done anything. Okay, because we don't have to go for it.
so the fact that you have these creatures that are made by the church that have consumed the flesh of Christ and become enlarged, hulking monsters that have nails, crosses nailed into their eyes so they cannot be fearful in the eyes of devils. Great. It's lovely.
That's
It's really
quite cool.
wholesome. And the fact that you have like death cult assassins, that the way you make them is you literally lock 10 kids in a room with a knife, survivor comes out after a week, take him to hell, if he survives going to hell, because you can die within a kilometer of the gates of hell if your soul is not dark enough. Take the assassin to hell, train him with all the assassins, murderers, any evil guy you can find in hell, cut his tongue out so he cannot speak of the lessons that he has learned, grant him armor that has been imbued with the soul of an innocent, so he cannot be seen in the eyes of God.
So
That's Trench Crusade.
okay, understood.
It is very much like what if hell
OTT,
broke out.
Grimdark, over the top, just crazy setting.
Because the guy who made Trench Crusade, Thomas, can't remember his last name, made Mordheim. He used to work for GW. He used to work there in the old days. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he made Mordheim, which is why one of my mates was like, oh, Trench Crusade just plays like Mordheim. It's like, it really does. And the thing that I like mechanically about Trench Crusade is literally most armies are just 7 guys. And I love that. It's just, it's small armies, skirmish war game. It's a skirmish war game. Yeah, it's a skirmish war game. So everyone acts individually, and it's not just like you buy a model, he's got all his equipment. It's no. You buy this model. Now, how would you like to equip him? Do you want to give him melee weapons?
Well,
What type of melee weapon do you want to give him?
Save this for the next section, because the next section is on game systems. But no.
I'll save that. So I'll keep talking about. So I'll go to the negatives of Trench Crusade.
All right, yeah.
Unless you want me to talk about something else.
No, go for it. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so negatives of Trench Crusade, they grew too big. They're never going to be a competitor to any, like, they're not going to compete with, like, Warhammer or Warlord Games, really. But as a company, they grew way too big for the scale that they were grown for, and just haven't admitted it. Like, they were meant to release the new box set, which was a whole like naval campaign through these naval raiders, which is a sub-faction of the Heretic Legion, and the Trench Pilgrims was going to be in the new box, new plastic kits, great campaign, map, boom, all the shabam, meant to come out literally 2 days ago, been delayed another month because of logistical issues. And this is about the 3rd, 4th time that we've had logistical issues with this company.
I was going to say
it's
that's not
to
the
get
first
to the
time
point.
they're having logistical issues.
No, and it's really starting to grind my gears because I love the game. I love it so much. It's so simple. The rules are 15 pages, and it's great when you read the rules because it's like, here's a little bit of fluff in a different font, then here's the rule. And it's so clean to read, and I love it. But I think company-wise, I think that honestly they need to pump the brakes a little bit. And after this release, they need to sort their logistical issues out for them to be somewhat viable. Because if this keeps happening, I think people are just going to get more and more annoyed. But the upside is they are very much into 3D printing and conversions. So you don't have to buy their stuff. You can just convert it, get STLs online with it, and they're fully okay with it. So that's the one upside about it.
Well, that sounds great. I mean, overall, it sounds to me like it's a setting intentionally designed to be a setting for a game, rather than it being its own world in and of itself. It doesn't sound like the type of thing that we're going to get Luton covering fucking 3-hour-long lore videos on. Obviously, you know, horses for courses.
There are quite a lot.
There already is
as well.
Yeah, because
one of the big ones for it.
Yeah, I haven't played any Trench Crusade, and honestly, probably am not. But I've actually gone down some YouTube rabbit holes, just watching lore videos because the lore is quite good. Like it's especially if you like that kind of grim aspect of it, and yeah, you want to hear all about it. And they've almost written, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like the history, quote unquote history, from like when the gates opened and how that all happened, and all the way through. There's like all these different wars and stuff that's happened, and yeah, it's quite well done. And
it seems to me grim. Like they've from an outsider's perspective, who's never really researched it properly, it seems like they've stepped into that. As the Games Workshop has become less grimdark with their lore, it seems like they've stepped into that little hole and taken that up, but also try to like one up them a little bit by just making everything just that little bit more over the top. That's kind of what it seems like from an outside perspective. Whether it is really like that once you get
I'll grant you that it is a little bit OTT in some points, but when you've been when everything else has been so stale, it stands out more.
Yeah.
But the Trench Crusade was kind of a reaction to sort of the fall of Cadia era of GW, where everything got very sort of grim hope rather than grim dark. You know, in Dauntless Crusade, the Imperium was expanding. The barbarians had gotten through the gates, but it didn't really seem to have affected anything.
Yeah.
You know, there was all this new technology coming out, and the Imperium was actually in a better position than it had been in like 6,000-7,000 years. So it looked like Warhammer was losing a lot of its grimness in the setting at the moment, and like we said earlier, it seems to be getting that back. But Trench Crusade came out as a response to that, which is why it got so much public backing on Kickstarter to begin with, because everybody wanted something darker. They wanted something to fill that sort of, the grim dark world is what people were wanting, and they seem to be the people providing it at the time.
Be also interesting to see where they go from here, because we kind of talked about the Warhammer lore grinding its way exceedingly slowly, because there's this tension between wanting to move the lore forward but also needing to keep the game running. And Trench Crusade, obviously being new, is like, here's all this lore dump, so everything feels very new and fresh, but also they're going to probably have a similar issue where you can't suddenly be like, hey, look, what's that? You know, suddenly hell has taken over this entire continent, and all these armies don't exist anymore, because that's going to mess up a whole lot of the way that people play the game. So it'd be interesting to see how they kind of manage that as they go forward from here.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'm completely unknowledgeable about it, other than when I first thought about it, I thought, oh look, it's just pure Deathcore of Krieg, and I imagine that was one of their main targets, was like, all those Deathcore of Krieg people are just going to come over here, which seems to be quite true, really. But all right, so what else have we got? So we've covered 40k, we've covered Trench Crusade. We've got
you wanted to talk 11th. I've got to drop off soon. Can we talk 11th edition real quick? Can I jump the schedule?
Of course we can. I actually have that as one of the topics, and that is which one is it? Okay, got it. All right, we'll skip to that one then. No worries. And this is called 11th edition. What the hell is even that?
I'm intrigued why you titled it that.
I said, what the hell is even that? I didn't. That's not me saying, "Oh, what the fuck is this? It's shit." It's just the way that when 11th came out, it kind of, there was a drum roll, and then they didn't hit the cymbal. Do you know what I mean? It just kind of came out, and now it's 11th. I don't
it's
really know what's the differences. What's kind of like. What is that? What is 11th edition? What's going on with it? What the hell is even that? Because I find most people that I talk with in my circles, we don't even fucking play the game anymore, and it's not apparent to somebody who isn't playing them on the meta scene every day and actually playing the game and stuff, what the actual difference is from the outside. It looks like pretty much the same game, or 10th edition 0.5, but by all means, mate, take the floor and give us your thoughts on whatever it was you wanted to cover on it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, partly I was intrigued as to why you titled it that, but that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it is 10.5, if you want to call it that. They're like, it's a tweak of the rules rather than a rebuild, and I think that's helpful as a player to kind of get a 10.5, then 12th, rather than a completely new time every time, because it means we don't have to replace codexes, and all the units feel very similar because none of the rules have changed. So that helps stay in the game and be able to pick up the differences between 10th and 11th without having to rebuild exactly what your army does and all the rest of it. And so with that, there's a bunch of tweaks in terms of how things play. The rules aren't massive shifts, like how combat movement is done is a little bit different. Hidden is really important rule, so you can now be hiding in terrain and you can't be seen outside of certain distance. That I found is probably the most impactful rule on how the game plays, and how the terrain is handled is also different, but in a way that really is great. Like, I'm loving the 11th edition terrain, because it's kind of just in 3 classes of stuff. You have a layout. This is, even if you wanted to play the official layouts, quote unquote, you can put anything you want on those layouts. If it's in the same position, it more or less plays the same. So you can put trees on, as well as your L-shaped ruins, which everyone hated. So that sort of stuff is a massive change, which you can now sit at this table and you're like, wow, that actually feels like I'm fighting over an actual ruined city now. A place, like it feels real, and it feels very much more immersive than 10th ever did.
Yes, well, that's
by necessity.
That's what was so repulsive. That's a strong word, but that's the only one that's coming to me right now about 10th edition, looking at it from the outside. As I would pass by somebody's table and I'd see all these L-shaped ruins, and they'd have the circle markers underneath them, and then they'd have like 3 books open, and people barely looked to like they were playing the game, and more like they were just kind of like stood in disbelief, shock, horror, grief, or pouring through a book, and it just didn't look like a fucking fun game anymore. And I think that's why I really avoided it since 8th. I was just like, at what point is this just a fucking suffering simulator? And when are we going to get back to this being a fucking fun game first and foremost? So it doesn't
look like already
has done that really.
It's hard, because some of that is certainly true. Like, you have to have your rulebook and your codex and your bits and pieces, but some of it's gone away. Like, for example, terrain is now objectives, so there's no more like, I go over there and I stand in a circle. That doesn't exist anymore. I have to fight over this ruin. I have to
I like that.
take the center objectives. That's
quite
cool. Yeah, it makes it it's quite a bit different in terms of how the game plays as well, when you've got you guys like hunkering down behind things. So it's definitely an improvement, but it's also is the same game. So if you like, it depends how much you played 10th, I guess. If you played it and you're like, I don't like this at all, 11th isn't so far removed that some of the things you didn't like have potentially gone away. Don't know, it depends what you did or didn't like, I guess. But it's definitely an improvement over 10th in the way that it plays and how it feels on the table and that kind of thing as well. So
that's fair.
If you were like, I don't know, it's worth a try to go. So
my biggest gripe with 10th is I found games took quite a long time to play, and part of that was because I was playing with my younger brother and I was teaching him at the same time. But we played maybe 15 games, and they just seemed to go on a long time, and you always came away from them really tired and just mentally exhausted. Does 11th improve on that? Because it was quite fun. It was fun, but it was just tiring. I think.
Tough question. I mean, I'm still in the learning stuff phase, so that always takes a bit longer. And like, we still have, like, if I have a mate coming over and we're just going to chat and talk shit and play, that probably still takes us a few hours, and we haven't really got very far. A tournament game is now the same length.
It's 3 hours.
It's about 2.5 to 3 hours, but there's also, you have to reset your terrain, because the way that the objectives and the battle setup works is that it's now determined by... Okay, I'm just talking about this in the wrong direction. When you create your army, you choose your detachment, which is the same as you did in 10th, except you can have more than one now. And that determines what's called a disposition. It's like what your army wants to do. So maybe you want to take and hold objectives. Maybe you just want to kill your opponent. Maybe you want to be a recon area. And so that is then your mission that you're going to play. And so if you are playing recon and I play take and hold, there is a mission that we play, and each of us have different things that we're trying to achieve. So me as a take and hold player might be just trying to take the objectives, and you as the recon player are going to spread out across the table. And if the next game I play is against a purge, my mission as a take hold is different, and yours as the purge player is different again. Each of those has a terrain setup that goes along with it.
I just want to say real quickly before we continue with this, is I just want to say what's up to people who are in the chat, which I haven't even fucking responded to anybody yet. So we've got Shah Shah, I think that's how we're pronouncing that, Shyam or whatever. Dude's just posted an entire cake recipe in there. Nobody asked for that. But thanks, dude. We've got the best cake recipe now. Wow. And
no one didn't ask for it.
No one didn't ask for it, and that's the main fucking thing. And I sup Rem Simple Sour says, hey, how are you? What's up? Doing good, mate. And yes, Hayden Laster, we are starting. Other than that, I think we're all
I figured that one out on my own.
So, are you playing 11th, mate?
I have not played yet. I'm still trying to. I gotta paint my drones, and then I'm finally have 1,000 points, and then I'm playing.
Wow, dude! Do you know what it
but
is?
I'm about to play 11.
Do you know what it is? You've taken the road seldom trodden. You have bought your entire army, you've built it up, you've painted it, you've based it before you've ever set it in front of someone to play a game. And I have to commend that, mate. I do have to commend that.
Okay, before I bought any armies. Oh. Good. No, sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, what I will say is that most people they'll buy like 2,000 points worth of shit because they're just fuck, I want to buy this and build this army, and then they'll just plonk like 1,900 points of grey and then one painted character in front of everybody and expect everybody to have a good day. So well done.
Really?
I am most
You have
people.
to call out 90% of the Warhammer community like that.
I know
that
you're
guy?
the person who suffered more than anyone from me doing that, but you didn't. Come on.
I know we were both guilty of that. When the concept of an army took your fancy and you bought all the shit off eBay, all the individual squads and that, you wanted it will itch and chomping at the bit to test play it. So, the only army I ever had
5,000
that
points of
was
chaos.
exactly our big 5,000 pointers. Only about 10% of that was painted. No, I mean the only army I ever had that was painted was the Skitarii, and they're long gone. So I'm back at square one.
I
am
just
itching to
feel
play.
I just feel a bit nervous because I really don't want Wave to just get in here and be like, "Hey, I really hate this game," and now I've bought and painted 1,000 points worth.
No,
I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Before I even bought anything or looked at it, I played some test games with my brother. I borrowed some of his Grey Knights, and I played the Warhammer first before I knew I liked it. This was 10th edition, but it was 10th edition, so it's a little different now. But I did try the game. I was like, "This is fun. I want to get into this." I walked over to the combat patrols. I said, "I like the way that looks," and now I'm a Tau player.
Well, your brother let
Nice.
you down because friends don't let friends play Tau. That's all I can say.
That's my brother. He's not my friend. It's completely different.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mate, like,
No,
you've
I
done it the
respect
right
that.
way, bud. If the only thing, if we can just get you to start thinning that white paint, you'll be flying. You'll
Believe me, I'm doing a lot less white on the rest of my army.
Yeah, well, James, Squiddy, fuck, had that
Squiddy.
exact same.
That's another pint.
I'll tell you right now, the white paints I'm using, they're like my brother's old ones. I don't know what's wrong with them. Those things do not thin.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
you
no,
need
that,
to thin every brush, every brush. Or some
Get some
airbrush thinner.
Army Painter mixing medium. Army Painter mixing medium. Every time you buy a new pot of white paint, just pour like a good amount in there. Shake it up, do whatever you need to get it smooth, and then like
Just
Relic
accept
says,
it's
just
gonna be
get
4
some,
coats.
yeah, and then just thin it down with a bit of the airbrush thinner, because that'll really thin it down loads. But the Army Paint mixing medium, it just seems to turn like it kind of seems to change the structure of the paint itself to just make it a lot better sort of standing, and it doesn't dry out quite as quickly.
Also,
Okay.
I haven't bought a GW white in a long time. The
just
Vallejo
don't-
one is really good. Monument Hobbies, I've picked up some of their stuff recently. I've tried the white, but the rest of their stuff's been like really good. So I would
It's
look
mostly
outside
it's
of
just what I
GW
had
for
on
white.
hand. It's what I
Yeah,
had on
yeah.
hand because my
I
brother
think-
had some already.
If you've learned anything, mate, it's don't paint white and you'll be okay.
Mm.
You say it like I have a choice. You see the army I'm playing. I don't really have a choice.
Well,
Hey, I've got a lot of towel, and I paint them a nice green and blue, and they look good. Like
yeah,
you
but you
do not
started
need
off
to.
with white, and you painted a good
Mhm.
1,500 points of it,
I
and then
think-
you went, fuck
We got
this, I'm
painted over
changing
2,500
colours.
points. Yeah, I painted like over 2,500 points, and yeah. And just
God knows,
halfway
right?
through
This is a
COVID.
testament, guys. If you think you like 40k, right, and Blood God, what I will say about you is you're a proper fan, mate, because you're paying out the arse for it where you are down in Big NZ, right? But Squiddy here, right? He loves the hobby, and I'll tell you why I know he loves the hobby. He painted 2,500 points of white Tau. And during 8th edition, he never won a single game that edition. Probably played about 40 games.
Never won a single game.
Tau couldn't win, and he kept there, and to this day he still hasn't. That's a fan right there.
Okay, I've got one more bit here, and then I've got to drop off. But I started painting an Elder army that was like almost white. It's like very, very light blue and orange, which is also hateful to do. And that army is now 40,000 points large, and I hate myself. 40. It's every single Elder model ever released, and that is dedication, and that is awful because orange is, and it was started off as a small army. It got too big. It was awful. Bad idea. Don't do that. But yes, that was.
Wasn't planning on it, but okay.
I mean, I've known actual emos to not hurt themselves that much.
That's what they had Saddam Hussein doing in the back until he was waiting trial. Just paint me fucking orange Eldar, you twat.
Hang on, I'm gonna drop this in the chat, and then I'm gonna
There
leave.
was a time I considered trying to get like almost the entire town range just to have. I'm suddenly reconsidering that.
Okay, well, Blood God will give you
if you're gonna do it,
mate.
If you're going to do it, then you need to pick a paint scheme that's easy to do before you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have like 4 different paint schemes in my first 2,000, man. I'm just trying everything. It's going great.
Well, let's give Blood God a good send off, mate. Thanks for joining us. And go.
No worries, guys.
With your day. Thanks, mate. Thanks for popping
I
on.
will. I'll try to get this photo in there, and then here you go.
Oh yeah,
Go get me a drink.
It's dropped it in the general chat. Here you go. All right, thanks, guys. See you later.
See you later, bud.
Take care, man.
Check that out later.
What are you looking at? Oh my goodness.
Oh!
Jesus.
Nearly fatal.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Oh my god, he wasn't.
I fear
lying,
for you.
Oh god,
I
he's
fear
got
for
the
the
Titans
man.
as well.
Oh my god.
Oh
sorry,
my days!
I gotta crack open that crisp drink for that.
I love how he's organised it as well.
It's very visually pleasing.
Oh.
I didn't know we were fucking talking to the real Blood God. I think I thought we were overstating it a bit, but it turns out, Jesus Christ!
That's
Because in my mind, I was like, if I ever saw that, I would swap 2 of the models and see how long it would take to notice.
Oh my god, he's got 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, at least 5 Wraith Knights. Big ones.
Oh
Look
my
at all those
God.
fucking... I mean, how do you even...
He's got one that's half and half, I just noticed that.
Yeah,
Under the gateway. No, he's got 2. He's got 2 which are half and half.
Oh, there's
One
more!
on the top shelf and then
How
one on
many
the bottom.
bikes does one man need?
That's why he's the gold!
The goat!
He's the gold! The
Okay.
gold! That's ridiculous.
Oh
It's a
no!
full-
If you look,
it's a
if you look
full
at the legs,
chapter.
if you look at the legs of the ones in like at the back with the Avatar of Canaan, there's another one which is half and half as well.
Oh my god.
As
Who hurt you?
okay, so the Marines is
Yeah,
a full
this
chapter.
is masochistic.
Mate, that's
Oh, those
There you go.
Marines.
Honestly, I've got nothing but adoration.
That is
Oh my god!
So many Marines. Dude.
That's excellent,
He's
mate.
got all
Oh,
3.
I had a collection.
He's got 3 different Titans.
I'll get out.
Is that the 3.5? Is that the big Titan right there? The Warlord in the center?
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
alright, okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's the 3.5
A
grand.
gimmick piece.
Hold on a minute, boys. Mate, what's your occupation? What do you do for a living?
I work in learning.
How you afford this?
Is that how
Learning?
people
It's
in New
just
Zealand
honestly-
say I'm a teacher?
Kind of, but for corporate.
Okay.
Are you like?
I was like,
What are you teaching? Like Secret Service agents?
no, honestly, it's just a little bit. It's a little bit over a long time. Like what you're looking at is probably 8-9 years worth of just a little bit every couple of weeks. A lot of second hand, especially with the Elder. A lot of box, big bulks of Marines. Like I bought, like 100 Marines off a time off Trade Me Lots, and I was just out at auction site here in New Zealand, like that kind of stuff, and just over a very long time. And then I've been lucky enough to be able to kind of keep it all where I haven't had to sell off many big chunks.
Mate, I bet when you have to dust them off, it's a fucking nightmare.
That doesn't happen. I was just looking at that. There's a lot of dust and things. I need some cases and some glass cabinets for the.
How many bikes do you have?
Bikes.
You've got an entire shelf of Space Marine bikes.
Oh my goodness! I just saw that.
It's a full mounted company, so it's bikes and land speeders. There's 100 Marines and bikes.
You might be the White Scar. Like, I don't know, man.
It's Jagatai Khan in the chat.
You might be the Khan.
Right, that's insane. Right, we're gonna have to continue because we're just.
It's alright. I'm gonna drop off, guys.
Okay, mate. We're started gooning over this collection. Okay, let's stop collection gooning. See you later, bro.
See you later, man. See you later.
All right. Let's crack back down to business. We've had a little goon session. If anybody just joined the stream, that's a funny one to hit into. All right. So, we've covered some good stuff already. So, let's get on to topic number 3, which is, and I think we're going to have a few sharp words to say on this one, and this is rule sets. What's good in 2026? Now, there's a few that are immediately cropping up to mind, and the last one on my mind, guys, the very last one is the bottom down of the fucking list. And I'm sorry, we've talked about 11th edition, but it's fucking shit right now, honestly. And this is coming from. So let me just give you a preface of a little bit of context of me and me saying this. Right, this has come from somebody who in 8th edition couldn't ever see himself playing any other war game. I was 100% 40k. Other people would tell me, "Oh, how good this rule set is," and stuff like that. It ain't fucking 40k though, is it, bitch? Shut up. Let me play with my fucking
40k was
orcs. Exactly, right? At least that, that's where my head and stuff was at. So I'm not somebody who hates 40k. I just think that it's nowhere near the best game, especially not in 2026. Immediately popping up into my head, you've got one-page rules, excellent system, though I don't think it's the best overall system. I think it's a very, very good system if you're wanting to play stuff in the 40k setting without having to deal with Games Workshop's bollocks, really, and the whole fallout of the way that they balance the game. And bolt action. I think honestly bolt action is probably the overall best system I've played so far. Obviously this is where we could go into talking about the Trench Crusade and how that works, but overall, I mean, I'd probably say broadly you probably agree with that general summary. I honestly, if we've caught the straggler who is the one odd rare Age of Sigmar player, I'd say just leave now, mate, because we're not even covering that pile of dog shit. Old World, I'd like to get into it. I'd like to get into it, to be honest. It's very far.
So the models, they're pretty cool.
They're beautiful. I mean, I'm kind of like, it's a shame. I find it a shame that I never got into it while it was Warhammer Fantasy. So, but yeah, it's far down the list in terms of priorities. But what do you reckon? We'll go into each one and individually why. But what are we saying about Trench Crusade? Let's go back to that quickly, Mr. Tweed, and what do you think generally about the state of stuff?
I think that's just me on that one.
So I have not played any other game system. This is my first war game, and I still haven't even really played this. So I'm just going to sit out of this one.
Fair, mate.
So pure mechanics speaking with Trench Crusade, the reason I love it is because 90% of the game revolves around getting a 7 on 2 dice. That's it.
Okay.
That's 90% of the game. The only difference is how many more dice you throw, and you're still picking out the 2 highest. Sometimes you might be picking out the 2 lowest, sometimes the 2 highest. But that's what I like about it, is it's just not like, oh, what's my character's weapon skill compared to your weapon skill? It's like, oh, I get to throw 4 dice. Cool. Oh, I got a 7. Yay.
That
It's
sounds
simple.
very much so like the dice game that we play at the pub for fucking pocket change.
I was just thinking, that. That is a drinking dice game.
Yeah, it sounds like something
it is
play
great.
with a peasant in an inn.
The only time it gets more complicated just when it comes to injury, because injury in the game is, I think, I would happily say, one of the simplest ones I've seen, where your armor, all it does is it minuses the total roll to the injury. And the injury is still only 2 dice. There might be rolling 4 dice, but you still might be picking the 2 highest still. And that's what I love about it, is you're realistically at a time, I think the most dice I've ever rolled in a game of Trench Crusade is 8 dice. That's it, 8.
So
And like
I'm
I
trying to
played
get-
That's
like
very different to the 120 that I used to roll for my XVA battle suits.
it's very different from the like couple of thousand I used to roll when I played my orcs.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know about that.
But that's what I like about it, is like, and plus now with me and my mate, we've gotten to a point where we could play a 700 point game, which is kind of like the lowest, it's kind of like the entry point for the games. We could play a 700 point game in about 40 minutes.
Okay. Damn.
It's nice.
That's fair.
And like I said, like
It-
7
it's-
models, that's all I need.
Yeah, obviously,
great.
I was going to ask you what is it like compared to 40k and Bolt Action, but really, it's not really something you can really
It
compare.
compares
to
more to Kill Team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, which is
Yeah.
another thing I haven't played. And another thing, I'd like to get into as well. Kill Team. I mean, the thing is about Kill Team is I've already got all the models I probably ever need for the fucking thing, you know. Yeah, I'm
My younger
amazed
brother
that
plays a lot of
I
Kill
need to
Team.
talk about too many individual systems.
I would say in Trench Crusade, the biggest comparison I can give it, that's still
See you
being
later,
made,
Simple.
is Necromunda. It's about the closest because both games have the progression campaign mechanic, and both have the permanent injuries to models as well. So Necromunda is about the closest one I can give it. But when you sit 2 people playing, one group playing Trench Crusade, another group playing Necromunda, I could probably have 2 games of Trench Crusade by the time that they finished 1 game of Necromunda. Trench Crusade is simple. It's what I
We
like
can
about
leave,
it.
man. It's okay.
Yeah,
Oh wait, no,
it's
we can't. No, we can't.
What?
What was that?
Sorry,
Hayden?
Bob.
Sorry, no, I'm talking to myself. I kind of forgot I'm in the call. I'm playing a game.
I know where he's did.
Oh.
I completely forgot I'm sitting here. I'm
you
gonna mute
you
myself.
just think you were
actually.
watching the stream. You forgot you were
Yeah,
participating.
I'm just gonna mute myself real quick. I'll unmute when we're on the next point. Y'all
Yeah,
have a
okay,
good
no worries.
discussion.
Yeah, we will.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I think rules wise and rules written, I think Trench Crusade personally is the cleanest. Like, I think rules wise, it's only 15 pages of rules,
Damn.
and a lot of it has a thing of like, it's like all the fluff is in italics, and then the rules are there.
Right, I see.
So
I
you
picture
can
that.
see where it's like a little bit of fluff, and then the rule. It's great. It's so easy to have that differentiate between fluff and rule.
Okay,
Which
well, that's
leads
great.
me to
Oh, go.
full action of just how I think that is the great game, worst written rule book I've ever had the displeasure of reading. But we will continue the subject. I'm sticking to my guns on that one. If someone else would like to take the floor before I keep rambling. And I am going to grab a drink.
I'm
so-
interested.
Oh, for
yeah,
fuck's sake.
you go
I'm going
for
to grab a
that.
drink because my mouth's like the bottom of a parrot's cage.
Yeah, of course, mate. It just just now it's just me and you, Squiddy. It interests me that he mentioned that it's a horribly written rule, but a great game. I wonder what he means exactly by that. It definitely does feel like a.
I haven't actually read through the rule book yet because you've got the rule book.
You bought
I've
the rule
taken
book
a
as well,
flip
little
through. No, was it? Did I?
Yeah, you bought the little one.
Oh, I'm gonna have to track that down.
Yeah, it was when we were at the club night. You
Okay.
bought the little mini version.
Oh yes, yeah. It was like the little the pocket version. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna have to track that down. I'm not sure where I put that.
I like looking at all the different scenarios you can do and all the little special rules and stuff and thinking, yeah, there's definitely
Something I have found. Something I have found with the army books is there's just so much there. It's kind of you sort of go through it all and it's like, right, okay, here's 2 pages. I've got the stats for 6 different units and they all look identical.
It is very dense.
Okay.
The bow
It's
action
very
is very dense.
There's a lot to get through with it.
I think the worst one is Germany, because if you don't know all the differences between all the SDKFZ lines, like what's the difference between a 251 and a 25110?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one's an infantry support one. One's an infantry support with the 47mm gun on it.
Yeah, no, it's that bit evades me slightly, but no, mate, you please do elaborate on what you meant with your opening statement there. Now you've moistened your pipes.
So the main reason I'll say, and one of the main rules I will say and give an example of, is heat weapons, high explosive, anti-tank.
Yeah.
So you look at the heat weapon section, doesn't mention anything about what it does to buildings. Doesn't mention anything like that. But then you go to the buildings, and in a little line, it just says, "Oh, yeah, all heat weapons count as HE2."
Should that not be on the weapon?
Yeah.
This is what I mean. There's not too much. Oh, you want to know what this does? Okay, go back to this page. Oh, and then I have to go to this page now. There's too much back and forth of where I feel like so much of it could be condensed into more sections. And for someone like me who's severely dyslexic, when I'm trying to find a rule and it's like 4 paragraphs explaining like what the fluff is and what it means, and then the rules are somewhere in between, it's a bit difficult. Annoyingly, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Do you think they were trying to simplify the rules by only writing them once and then saying, right, if you need this rule, then it's on this page, rather than having it so that every sort of data slate, for each weapon has all of the rules on them at once? So the data slates, for the weapons and the units are smaller, but the actual rules, but because of that, the rules overall are more spread out.
I don't mind the data slates being small. I quite appreciate that.
No, that is not.
Yeah, I just don't appreciate the fact that I have to flip through 5 different pages to find one little thing. That's where most of my displeasure comes from. I think it could definitely be done with a rewrite. And apparently, I don't know how true this is. I've heard this on the grapevine and words of mouth, and I think it's like more of an internet rumor than anything. But apparently, some of the guys who worked on the 5th edition 40k rulebook wrote bolt action version 3, which kind of makes sense when you look at it, how it's quite disorganized.
I think, and I kind of wanted, this is a little bit, we're talking about rule sets now. I do want to mention something about bolt action now, which I kind of I had to kind of catch myself and not mention it in the settings segment that we were on just before, because it's not a setting in that it's like created and it's lore and it's setting for a game, but I think it may be the best setting for a game, or like the best setting for any tabletop game, because fuck me, if you want some lore about your setting or about your faction, you can't get any more than actual World War II real history. If you want to think of like amazing pivotal real battles that were in super specific locations that you can delve into and recreate, again, you have World War II history to pour over to find the most perfect scenario, terrain layouts, grand campaigns, recreations, alternate history, recreating real historical battles. So as a setting, there's an argument to be made that bolt action is probably sitting on the ultimate treasure mine. Obviously, the one thing that you are lacking in that as a game and as a setting as somebody who collects stuff adjacent to it is there's obviously not that real level of creativity like there is in the same extravagance as there is in other settings like Trench Crusade 40k, Warhammer.
There's no kit bashing.
No, there's no.
There's no kit bashing.
You're not really like making up your own chapters, regiments. Really, I mean, you can, but it's like you're not making up color schemes. You're not making up your own lore, really, are you? But
about the most like conversions you do and kit bashing is just, oh, I'm going to add a beret head to this guy. That's kind of like the limit of it, and I will admit it is a little bit. Yeah, it is a little bit just like, oh, that's a little bit naff, really. But as someone who's a World War II enthusiast, fucking love it.
If you want to go somewhere physically in real life to go look or be immersed in the world of your game setting, if you're a 40k fan, well, nobody's got anything unless you're a 40k fan, you can go to Warhammer World. However, if you want to do the same thing as a vivid, active bolt action fan, well, God, just take your pick from any number of museums, historical sites, and I mean, for me, I can just look out the window and see historical stuff like that. So it's, there's something to be said about that. But as a rule set, bolt action is probably, I mean, I'm only 2 or 3 games in, but I'm pretty sure bolt action is probably one of the best, if not the best, game system I've played so far. It really hits the nail on the head for somebody who's an old 4th and 5th edition 40k players. When I came into the game, you've got your side, front, rear armor values, you've got arcs of fire, you've got pinning. All these things are like so fundamental to playing a game that's immersive and makes you feel like you're actually commanding real combat. Especially the pinning, I think. At first I was like, oh, this could get really tedious. But then when I started to think about the minutiae of all the different ways that these pins can be used and the thought processes in terms of administering the pins and dealing with the pins, I'm like, no, this makes it a lot more realistic than pretty much any other thing, because it's a good system, and overall it's the one that made me feel the most like a general, and that's very important to me. I am 100% really big on immersion. I want to feel as in there and it feel as realistic as it possibly can. That's where I get most of my enjoyment from, and it's all about those little tactical decisions, trying to pull off a strategy that you're thinking in your head. You're thinking a couple of turns and way, I'm going to flank around this side, I'm going to take this bill, and I'm going to work up from this position, I'm going to try contact the enemy at this particular angle and lead him into this area. That's what I love about wargaming, and I think that's what so many people get into wargaming for. I mean, I'm sure plenty of people get into it because I like the look of the miniatures and then they play the game as an afterthought. But for me, when I was a kid, there was a TV show, and I can't remember what it was, or it was a movie or something, and there was these generals and they were pushing around these figures on a board, and they were obviously playing a war game, and I went, oh, fucking hell, what's that? That looks amazing. And then a couple of years later, I discovered what Warhammer was at my school with Squiddy, and that's what
you're not talking about Time Commanders.
Yeah, I have no idea what it was, but my point is bolt action makes you feel like a general, and the combat is that perfect blend between realistic and gamey and enjoyable and fun, and so overall it's just fantastic. Really, I've not got really much bad to say about it. Obviously, the only thing that we've said bad about it so far is just the way that the rulebook's written, and well, I mean, once you've got it in there in the old noggin, you're good to go.
I'd be interested to see how it plays once you get to, like a sort of apocalypse, quote unquote, apocalypse size game.
Yes.
Where you have, like dozens of squads and, multiple vehicles.
3,000 plus points.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see how it plays with that.
I definitely want to play big games.
It seems like it will play decently at that, but I'm not sure.
Okay, well, we've talked about a few settings there. There's a few more we could go into, but in the aim of not making this video 4 hours long, we'll move on to the next one now, boys. Unless there's anything anybody particularly was saving there and wanted to say before we move on.
Oh, I'll say one thing about the bolt action rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though it's a big war game, it doesn't feel huge.
Yeah.
It's not like when you see 40k people play. It's like even having like 3 units of 8 feels huge for bolt action, but in Warhammer that'd be tiny. And that's what I like about it is the scale of it feels good. It's large enough to make it feel like you're able to take command and actually make differences in swaves of moving, but it's not just like everyone's shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, it's big enough to do like proper combined arms operations, but yeah, it's not like, as you say, just ridiculously flooded, like bringing 120 orc boys and that just being just the infantry. No, I concur.
Yeah, there's no bringing 180 guardsmen just to pin down Angron for 5 turns before you've even started doing anything else with the rest of your army.
Okay, well, let's move on then. So the next topic, I'm not sure what it is, but it's going to pop up here in a second. The next topic is historical, the big comeback, ? So this is just something that's kind of like, it feels like it's true, and it might not be. But I put this in there because I've been having a feeling recently that, like, historical wargaming seems to be making somewhat of a resurgence. Like, I didn't know anybody who played historical wargames until, like, the last year or two. And I'm bumping into more and more people who are predominantly historical wargamers. And in fact, the biggest room of like in terms of amount of people playing games was when I walked into a historical wargaming club the other week, last month. There's the next one's on Thursday, and I was just gobsmacked. I mean, there must have been 100 people in the room all playing, and that's not something.
Oh yeah, that was incredible. It was packed. You know, it's a sort of like a chapel, large chapel-sized hall room, town hall place. It was.
Oh, you can barely move.
It was difficult to walk around them. It was difficult to walk around for the tables and the people. It was hard to get around. There was that many people there.
And I'm not going off numbers or hard facts or anything, but it feels like, you've got companies like Warlord Games, which seem to be on the up. Me and Squiddy visited their real brick and mortar store the other week. That was great. And it just feels like they're making headway. Some of that can be definitely assigned to the success of Conflict 47, which is something we haven't talked about at all, which is really quite strange. We didn't talk about that in settings.
It's something I'm interested in, but I haven't really had a chance to get into. I know some of the guys I play bolt action with are interested, but we're trying to get bolt action out of the way first, if you get what I mean. Like trying to
same.
And then but a lot of what you can have is compatible, so
yeah. So I feel like obviously Warlord is like the big historical one, really. You've got Victrix, Perrier miniatures, but they kind of just produce the miniatures. Warlord is where it's at in terms of rule sets for the mainstream for historical wargaming, and I feel like they're on the rise. Their sales are up. I mean, that's evident in the fact that they're constantly expanding. They are expanding, and it just feels there's just this overall feel across people I meet on the internet that historical wargaming seems to be making some kind of a comeback, really. What do you think? What do you reckon? Do you think this is maybe just a bias of my algorithm or who I just happen to be bumping into? What do you reckon, Mr. Tweakers? You're somebody who's recently taken up historical wargaming too.
Yeah, it is really odd because, like, I remember back in the day that, like, especially like in London, it was kind of Warhammer or nothing.
Yeah.
It was kind of why you play Warhammer. It was Warhammer or nothing. And then I remember watching like some historical wargamings on YouTube, and it seemed to be like the more up north you went, the more historical wargaming became popular. But lately, I've been seeing, like for example, a lot more Saga being played, which is a medieval Viking era
wow,
historical
never even heard of that.
Yeah, quite a good game actually. I'm seeing more games of these. I'm seeing like more bolt action. Like there's a new bolt action community opening up, and I think as soon as it's like a rabbit hole. As soon as you get in there, you start seeing like, oh no, historical wargaming has always been around me. I just haven't met that one person to be like, hey, want to hop in the rabbit hole with me?
Yeah, I mean, I had to pull Squiddy in with me. But
you mentioned Warlord. What's Warlord? I'm not familiar with that.
So Warlord Games is a company over here, very, very similar to Games Workshop in the way that they present themselves. The way that the store is arranged was just like a Games Workshop.
Very like Workshop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Old school.
The guys who run it are old classic from the original proper golden days of Games Workshop. And they basically produce a few games. The main one's Bolt Action, or you could probably maybe say that the new main one is Conflict 47. But they also do...
I have heard of that.
They also do Black Powder, which is the Napoleonic era stuff. They're pretty much the kings of historical wargaming, really, in this day and age.
They've also got a very cool Age of Sail one called War Sails, where you're using old like sail ships.
Master and Commander
that one does look cool. Yeah. No, they've literally got a box called War Sails, Master and Commander.
That's excellent. I'm gonna have to watch that film. I tried to watch it the other day, but I couldn't get it.
They also have recently released Zulu in epic scale.
Oh yeah, that's.
Yes, they have. Yeah. Yes, they. When we went to the Warlord store, they actually gave me a
sprue of Zulus
of the Zulu warriors.
So this is the one thing with
Warlord. The married Zulu warriors, which I think are supposed to be like the older, more elite ones.
Yeah.
They all look
nice models. Yeah, they're nice models. Yeah, they look good.
So that's kind of the thing. Like when you buy something from Warlords and from Warlords itself, they sometimes throw sprues in to the box. Like when I bought the new Commonwealth book for my Bolt Action Army, they also threw in a sprue of Black Powder Epic Battles Waterloo British Infantry.
Oh, I would have been so made up with that, you know. I would have been so happy if they did that for me.
Yeah, so I'm just like, oh, sweet. That's like, I don't think I'm ever going to play it, but I'm like, that's a painting project. And it's like, I've got like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 guys in here, a cannon, and a commander.
One thing I will say in terms of getting free things is last time I went to General's Outpost, there was a fella there who was so nice, he was just giving shit away, and I got a little Messerschmitt out of it. And there it is there on stream if you don't know.
I got a HMS hood.
Little Messerschmitt.
Oh yeah.
That's a nice person. See, now you need to play Germans and bring not an artillery observer, an air observer. And when it's like fighter plane, you bring the model of the fighter plane in.
So yes, I got a HMS hood, and my dog knocked it off the shelf and broke it 3 days after I got it, which was very nice of her to do.
I think it's hard for us to put...
Another thing with Warlord and them giving you stuff is we found out if you buy one of the army books for Bolt Action, I assume they do similar stuff like outside of Bolt Action as well. When you buy one of the army books, they will give you a model of a character.
Yeah, like I have the Indian guy with the Bren gun.
Yeah, I bought a British Forces one because Relics already had the Germany one, so we were just going to. I was going to buy the British one and swap books with him. And we got some. I can't remember his name. It was Major something, Major Cordell or something. I can't remember. Who's got a Victoria Cross? Is he still in the car? You rat! You rat! You took the model which I got for free that I gave to you because you're the one to build it and paint, and I want to see it on the field in our first game.
Hold on for a minute. Hold on. It came with my Great Britain Codex.
No, the I bought. It came with the.
But I gave you my German.
Yeah, He gave that model to me though. He gave that model to me.
It's in my car. I'm stowing it away. I'm not letting you keep him as a prisoner amongst all your Jerrys.
No, wait, well, no, yeah, that's your objective in the games. You've got to go rescue him.
Well, okay. So overall, guys, I think it's hard for us to really put a dot in. Has historical made a big comeback? Yes, I think it has. I think it's become more of an option, and I don't know whether that's because of an organic singular rise of historical in itself, or maybe the fact that just the overall landscape of wargaming has changed to the state where like options are now viable. You know what I mean? There's other things other than 40k, and people understand that and accept that. And because of that, people's horizons are broadened, and people are latching onto historical because it's fucking sick. And let's be honest, there's a lot of overlap in terms of the average person who likes Warhammer and gets really into that is probably going to like a little bit of World War II, a little bit of Roman history, a little bit of history in there somewhere. So overall, yes, I do think historical is making a big comeback. I think we can put a stamp in that one and say that it's definitely on the rise. What do you reckon, boys? Can we agree on that?
Yep.
I don't think it's on the decline. I'm not too tapped into that space, but I mean, it certainly seems like it's doing all right.
That's great.
I think so. The only thing I'm unsure on is whether is it because people have been moving away from GW to they're now looking at other options, or is it more of an organic people just gaining more of an interest in history?
I've got another theory. It's because all of the kids who are our age, Squiddy, we've now and Mr. Tweed, we're now dad age. Yeah, not by a great deal though. You're not like you couldn't be my dad, could you?
If I came from Essex, probably.
We could all be, some of us are dads.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that we're unks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're getting up there. We're getting up there into becoming overly interested in smoking meats outside and historical wargaming. Okay, so maybe we're lifting up into that demographic. We used to look at the unks in the corner playing the historical wargame. We're there now, so we're kind of in that field, and the grass is pretty fucking green. Let's be fair, boys. Okay, let's pop into the next topic. I think we've nailed that one on the head. And the next topic, boys, is wargaming. What it was versus what it is.
Oh.
Now, this is one that could potentially make the tear ducts sting a little bit. And I'm not. My intention with this one is not to necessarily go into the nitty gritty individual. Oh, what's up, Runaway 5, dude? How you doing? It's not necessarily go into the nitty gritty individual things. It's more so like what wargaming meant back in the day, perhaps for what it means today. What do you guys think? Anybody have any initial thoughts on this?
Another one where I'm going to sit out because I've only been here for the is. I did not see the was.
That's fair, mate. That's fair.
Well, maybe actually having you here will be quite good for that, because if you're coming in with that fresh light, we can give the old view on.
Here's how we're going to do it, Hayden. You've been chilling for the last few, so here's what we're going to do for this. What is wargaming to you, mate? Go on.
That's a loaded question, actually. Oh,
unloaded, baby.
I never really thought about. I didn't really think about that. I guess it's just for me. It's been like it's just a hobby. It's something I can sink a lot of time into and have a finished product to look at, because I like making stuff. I do a lot of Lego, a lot of baking. Just something where I can have a finished product to look at and know I did this. So this was just kind of the next step in that. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of working with your hands, and you get a nice, pretty product. So that's kind of what it is for me. It's just a.
How old are you, mate? Roughly, you don't have to give me an exact age. I
don't mind. I'm 19.
Okay, so you're fairly young. So what's the stigma around? Obviously, if you've left school, you've not long left school. What's the kind of stigma?
I'm in college. Yeah.
Okay, what's the kind of stigma in school, college right now around wargaming and how it's kind of perceived?
I don't know. I don't talk to a lot of people, so I don't know. I don't go up saying, "Hey, what do you think about Warhammer 40k?" No, I don't know. Like, I don't ever see anyone talking about it, but the people I see talking about it always just seem pretty happy. So, like, and I don't know. It's not like they're making an effort to hide it, so I don't think it's like Revenge of the like Attack of the Nerds, where if I talk about it, I'll be ostracized from society for being different.
Oh,
let me tell you, brother.
Let us all tell you something.
all of us physically reacted to that, didn't we? Oh, that's
We all did.
Oh, was it bad? Was it bad?
It's not literally. You got beaten up for liking Warhammer.
Oh.
Even like for me, like playing video games was like just about starting to become cool, especially when you're playing like it early. People were ripping you into that. Oh, you're playing Pogon on your GBA.
The best analogy I can give is that, like, in about 20 before 2010, so like 2007 to 2005, back in the day when we were getting into it and stuff, is that it was the equivalent of like being gay in the 1970s. It was like you had to have code words.
Yeah.
You had to like
you couldn't advertise
someone and somebody would pick up on a word and say, "Oh, for the Emperor? What's that? What? You? Warhammer? Me? Yeah, Warhammer?"
So essentially,
and then
you
you'd be
had
like,
to
"Oh,
build
yeah,"
this
and then you could come out with it. Yeah, exactly. You had to like, you had to be very careful around that because it was not socially acceptable, and it was something that, I mean, look, I was one of them kids that didn't give a shit, and I would just sit and read my White Dwarf on the bus. However, that cost me over time socially. That cost me, and I had to sit with the repercussions of being that kid who liked Warhammer. So yeah, it used to be a very much so an underground thing in general. If you liked it, it was almost a prerequisite that you were a weirdo, or people just thought you were one.
Okay, so back when I was still in school, it was kind of the same way with anime. It was, but like that changed eventually. But like, in my elementary, middle school, you didn't. People who watched it, I didn't really talk about it. Like it was not. It was like a
comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like during the
used to look at anime is how people used to look at Warhammer.
Yeah, I think when that changed, like over the pandemic, I think people just in my generation, like school, they just got used to just doing things because you had to fill the time somehow. I think a lot of people started watching anime. I think a lot of people also started doing these hobby projects on the side, and when we came back, it just kind of was like normal. Like, oh, you watch it too? Nice. Yeah, that's. What else were you gonna do during the year where you had nothing else to do?
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
I think the pandemic kind of just really just made it so it's just kind of normal. Like it's not. It's like how you fill the time.
Yeah, definitely.
It normalized a lot of that. It normalized a lot.
Anime is a perfect like example for it. I mean, I stopped liking anime and then it became cool to like it. That was another underground thing as well. Like, no, it used to be this underground thing. I mean, and that kind of goes into like the way that the setting was presented as well. It was kind of like this little weird corner of the internet and the world. It was, I tell you what, man, before YouTube became as accessible and mainstream, like before Google took over YouTube and pretty much like in this day and age, if there's a thing, there's YouTube channels myriad that cover it and make content about it. It never used to be like that. Back in the day, you used to have maybe a couple. There was a couple. You had mini Wargaming, and you had Blue Table Painting, and you had a couple of the OGs. But we're talking about like maybe once a week, really grainy, random videos that they'd upload. Back in the day, it wasn't accessible with the wealth of information that there is now. As I like to say ad nauseum, and I've said this a few times, but I will reiterate just for the sake of the conversation, is that like when you were gathering your information, you were learning about the hobby, the main connection was the White Dwarf magazine, which was the monthly magazine that was always £4.99 I was barely ever allowed to get, and that was it. You basically drew all of your information from them, or if you knew somebody who had read the books. I didn't really even know about the books for the longest time. It was all that magazine, and you had little tidbits of information, and it very much felt like you were connected to this little underground lair that nobody knew everything about, or nobody even knew most things about it. They just had like their information from their codex or whatever, and lots of tidbits of information about the lore, the world, the setting. I know I'm kind of just talking about 40k now rather than Wargaming, but It was all kind of compartmentalized, and it was a lot more mythical. So that was how it was. How it was different in that sense.
So much of the information was just spread through word of mouth. So you would hear these almost legendary sort of mythical tales that somebody had told somebody twice removed from the person that you were talking to, which is, that's where the whole Baneblade being a scout tank comes from. The entire setting had this huge level of mysticism to it because of that.
Yeah, how Mew was hidden underneath the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That registers. Yeah, that registers. I get that one.
So that's what it was. That's what the differences were in terms of the setting. Now, obviously, everything is super accessible. You want to know anything about the lore, you can pull up a 3-hour video that explains every single detail of it, and then that's it. That's it. That level of mystique really isn't there in the modern day. Obviously, perceptions change now. You've got all sorts of influencers who get their tits and arse out and pretend to paint Warhammer to make it more accessible and palatable by the masses, and it is now, really, isn't it? I mean, look, we're talking about an Amazon TV show, for God's sake, so it's a completely different thing, and that comes with its downsides, of course. Things getting watered down, things getting a lot more made palatable for modern audiences, and so there is definitely some stark contrast to how it used to be to how it is now. I'm quite conscious that we've pretty much just only talked about 40k, but realistically, that is what's been affected the most.
Isn't that like how? Isn't the was mostly just 40k? Like there wasn't really any other systems for the most stuff for a while.
Well, no, there was definitely. I think there was most likely historical wargaming predates Warhammer. I think because we were playing war games in World War One, World War Two to try simulate battles and come up with battle plans.
Oh, well, there's a manor estate that you can go to not too far from where we live, Relics, where a huge wing of the entire house is let over to rooms full of dioramas, which are made up of these little, 15, 16 mil scale lead figures that one of the previous owners of the building had made, and you've got Agincourt, Waterloo, like big Roman and Celtic one, and it's almost certain that they would have had some fairly basic games to play them with, because
we've got to go check that out.
Was quite a popular thing, at least for the aristocracy back in the day. But miniature painting isn't anything that new. We've been doing it for hundreds, at least 1700s, hundreds and hundreds of years at this point. So, but there's obviously been a stigma in the past, but like we've been saying, it's becoming much more popular. I don't know if anybody here knows of the Unsubscribe podcast, but
yes,
the vast majority of the people who do that are now getting into Warhammer. A habitual line crosser has been reading the Horus Heresy over the last couple of months and posting about it, and he's millions of subscribers, gets millions of views. Hundreds.
Actually, it's really funny you should say that, because I saw a video of that Asmongold's just got into Warhammer as well as a big video.
Yes,
making a brick coat and clean one. Henry Cavill, obviously you got fucking all sorts of people.
Isn't he in the show?
Yeah, he's
Henry Cavill's set to be in it. He's helping to produce it and being a big part of the actual production of it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's good.
Henry Cavill's probably the only reason that the show's actually going to go forwards, if we're being honest. If he leaves and makes a public scene about it, I doubt the show's actually going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's not the. I think the Warhammer 40k community is definitely not the one to try force some random fucking woke shit on at the last second. I don't think it's going to be very good for sales.
No, it's not. I think the Black Templars players would not like that.
No. Where's me damn Templars? Where are they? I've got some up on the shelf. Not many. I've only got one squad. But yeah, not much of a Black Templars player with just the one squad. But okay, Mr. Tweed, you got anything to add for that before we move on?
No.
Hello?
Yeah, no, I don't have anything to add. I think everything that I would have said has been said.
Excellent. The mouth of the people. Okay. So the next topic is, when was Wargaming's prime?
I'm out.
Ooh, I mean that's
You
that's
can make
a
an
very
argument for now, dude.
subjective from person to person.
Well, no,
Exactly.
I can't because I have nothing to compare it to. I can't argue for a prime if I don't know the different states.
Well, no, you could argue it's in its prime right now, to be fair, and I think there is a case to be made that perhaps it is Wargaming as a whole, because we've got what we've got to get away from.
It's more popular now than ever.
Runaway
There's
5
more
says,
people playing it now than ever by a long way.
yeah, well, Runaway 5 just said in the chat that honestly it might be now, and honestly, as much 40k, maybe not in a way, but we're talking about Wargaming, right? Overall, you've got more people into it than there ever has been. And the flip side, mirror to what I said on the last bit, it's more accessible now than it's ever been.
Kickstarters. Yeah, there's been more Kickstarters for Wargaming than I've ever seen. Like, the fact that, it's right, StarCraft having a war game now, that apparently, from what I've heard, is really good.
Halo Flashpoint's supposed to be really fun as well. That's supposed
Star Wars
to be
Legion. I want to get into Legion because I'm a big Star Wars guy. Gotta get into that.
Apparently Disney's kind of let that go, but the game's still there and the models are still available, so there's no reason that you can't play it.
Yeah.
So,
it's very popular. They just dropped the whole faction, so it's doing pretty well.
It's also, as I
it's
said,
definitely got a community around it.
As I touched on in the last part where I said that, like, you know, it used to be so much more mythical the way that all the information was spread out. On the flip side of that, now it's super accessible, and if you want to absorb media and content about it and the ease of getting into it and learning these systems and understanding, getting into how big the communities are, the big presence of communities online. I mean, Discord and communities like this one that we're sat in right now, weren't a bloody thing back in the day for sure. And it's a lot easier to get in and stay in these hobbies these days. And with 3D printing, this entire new market where hundreds of new products are appearing every single day, it's very hard to argue that Wargaming isn't in its prime right now. And I think, to be fair, initially my knee-jerk reaction is to say, oh, it's better in the good old days. But honestly, it might be now, lads. It might be now.
Yeah. I mean, considering the fact that, like, 10 years ago, I wouldn't think to, like, try to find STL files. I wouldn't even comprehend that. Now, I could just go online, unfortunately, pay a French guy for some really good tank STLs, and have arguably some of the best. Yeah, unfortunately, he makes one of the better ones, so I just buy from him. I hate the idea of giving them money.
Hey, look, I like a baguette every now and again, you know? Pan au chocolat.
They can't even do champagne, right? Perret's better.
Well, okay, this one ended up being a lot less controversial than it maybe could have been. I mean, we could have someone in here that wanted to take the ultra troglodyte position of it's fucking fake and gay now or some shit, but it is.
Well, you wanna explain what the old one might have had over this one then, because that could be fun. I don't know what the differences are.
I'd say lore-wise, it used to maybe 40k, at least 40k in specific, lore-wise, it used to be a bit better. I mean, you used to get, it was a lot grimmer, a lot darker, there was a lot, I mean, I've lamented for hours at a time that what 40k used to be was, it was Rome, the Imperium was Rome under siege and the barbarians were battering at the gates with the ram. And it was like that for years and years until Cadia fell. Cadia was the gate. But it always felt like if Cadia fell, then the Imperium would collapse and fall in on itself. the barbarians would wash through the city and take over the palace in a matter of days. Whereas Cadia fell, and that didn't happen. In fact, the opposite happened. You instead skipped straight from the fall of Rome to skip straight forwards up until General Belisarius of the Byzantine Empire 400 years later retaking Rome. Whereas back in the day, it was a lot darker, a lot grimmer. It was very much so. It had the feel of everyone was fighting, knowing they were going to lose, but they still fought on to get those extra few minutes. People were fighting despite the fact that they knew they were going to lose. It was all,
Sorry,
it was a lot grimmer, a lot darker. Whereas now it seems a bit lighter, and I'd like to see them go back to that.
Sacrificing thousands just to buy a few minutes.
It was more unapologetic with its flavor and its character and things like that, and I think these things that have been sacrificed on the altar of incredible amount of choice now. I mean, if you could teleport us back to if you were a Chaos Space Marines collector in 2008 and all you had was a generic Chaos Space Marine box, and basically you just had to paint them a different color and be happy with it. And now, just think of the options at your fingertips now, and that's what Wargaming is about. We could talk about
an army.
We could talk about the difference in the settings, but if we're talking about Wargaming, the actual activity of the Wargaming itself, it's never really been better, I don't think.
And it's also like you're not relying on professional sculptors to make stuff now and then have it cast. You just have some guy making an STL digital file. Or hell, even worse, AI doing it for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to press that,
right.
but I'm just saying.
It's a lot more accessible for the general person to get in.
No, never AI.
Definitely.
What's up, Runaway 5? How you doing, bro?
I saw someone praising AI, and I can't have that.
I spat before I said it. I cleansed my palate. But I'm just...
took my asshole and went for it.
Look, I've just shown you a T-bone steak and then gave you shit as another option. Which one are you going to go for?
Well, this...
That ain't a fucking...
What animal does the shit come from?
I'm not indulging you.
Sure.
In the hopes of getting through a few more topics, we're all in agreement on this one, really, more or less. So let's move on to the next one. It's been a good one. Each of these topics are going to get edited into their own videos and uploaded, by the way. So this is going to be very fruitful. Yeah. Okay, next one.
Look the content.
Okay, so this one is overall. Okay, this is kind of. This one, I didn't have the foresight to see that we've kind of explained this one away, really, and is Wargaming declining? I don't think it is.
No, I think it's in a very healthy state.
No, we can't just say what we just said and then say this one. So let's skip this one entirely.
It's healthy, but I worry about the potential of new blood.
Yeah.
Like Warhammer, I'm just going to use Warhammer as an example because that's what I played when I was a kid.
Expensive.
I could, with pocket money, eventually save up to rebuy the Assault on Blackreach set to get all the orcs out of it again.
Yeah.
I look at some Warhammer sets now and I go,
you're not doing that now.
As an adult, I go, shit, I'm going to have to save quite a bit for this.
Yeah, how much was the Armageddon box? As a comparison there.
£185.
185, Jam.
Jesus Christ!
It's some of the 300s for dollars.
Yep. And Assault on Blackreach was 40 quid.
So if you get to October, you can get 25% of all your item purchase. Just gonna...
Yeah. So let's do it. For the majority of people, that is at least, if not more, a full day's work.
That's more than I make in most weeks. I'm working
Well,
part-time,
well,
so
you're
that's,
19, so-
that's not surprising. I'm not salaried. I'm a grocery hauler. That's not...
It's what I make. Yeah, it takes me most of a day to earn 185 quid. Like,
Yeah,
sort
it
of
takes
up
me
to-
a little
yeah, most
over a
of the day.
day. I was about a day and a quarter.
Well, actually, it's
So
about.
let's
Well, it takes me
say
half a day.
10, 11.
Takes me
Yeah, it
half a
takes
day
me
to
probably
185
10
quid.
and 12, 10 and 12 hours sort of work to do.
But yeah, with the rate of bills, that doesn't really fucking say much anymore, does
But that's the
No.
only way I can see the decline is it getting too expensive.
it? Yeah.
Like,
But there
we've
is
gone
also
from a
just the
hobby where
general-
youngsters came in to pump up the
Okay.
new blood, and
Well, the thing is, people are paying for it, which is why they keep making it more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly testing that.
They
What I'm
know
gonna
they
say,
can
though,
get away
if
with
we
it.
if we keep it quite like to the Wargaming itself, and that's the only way you could make a real argument that it is declining, is over. But then I'm just kind of thinking about 40k, that like the quality of the actual game itself has gotten shitter, and the way people play it, it's more e-sporty and it's less of a fun game, and it's more fucking to do with Games Workshop's like shitty power scales. But that's just 40k. We can't really say it, lads. I think we're going to have to gloss over this one and say no, it probably isn't.
yeah,
Okay, next topic.
Yeah.
Now this one, we could be on this one for a while, boys. This is my favourite topic of the night. This is how to fix Games Workshop.
Prices.
I'm just going to go for a
That's
quick
literally
toilet
it.
break.
Okay, so picture this, lads. We've just been hired, right? We're now the new Games Workshop CEOs and board of directors, right? We now have ultimate
how
control.
quickly can I resign? It's not
Can I
a ship
raise
I
my
want to
salary?
sail.
Your salary is 4 boxes of intercessors a month.
I'm not a Space Marine player. Can we make that Fire Warriors?
I'll give you. I will just spam you endless ethereals over and over again.
I can only bring 3, man. What the hell?
So,
So
They don't
I
even
would
do
start
nothing. They
with
just send it back.
reminding people that Hammer factions actually still do exist.
Yeah. That's
There's
like,
more than
we were-
Space Marines.
Yeah, whenever we were talking about the settings, that was one thing I did. I thought about bringing it, but I didn't. Is it feels like they're afraid to try anything. Like whenever I think of any media I see, it's always Space Marines, obviously, and it's either Tyranids or Necrons or Orcs. They have not, and then there's some Chaos sometimes. They have not touched. I don't think I've ever seen an Eldar or Tau or Botan or Drukari, anything like.
Has been quiet for a long time.
yes,
Like, has Tau made a single appearance in any sort of media since Fire Warrior, like the game, where that was meant to hype up the initial release of the entire faction?
If you have
I don't think
Warhammer
they have.
Plus, they had a short which we could see a single Fire Warrior getting killed.
Oh, brother!
okay.
That's my
It's
point
really-
exactly. When's the last time they used these guys? They got a
I
whole
think that's
faction.
definitely something I would do is start diversifying what we advertise.
Yeah.
Like, I know Space Marines are the picture child. They are the flagship. They are what is going to
Yeah,
shift
they are the
most of
poster boys.
The
But
moneymaker, yeah.
But they sell them. They sell themselves. So sell the other
Yeah.
stuff.
But that's what I
a
mean.
very
It's
good
like,
point, man.
where's like the Dark Eldar stuff? Where's new Eldar stuff? They're not even called Dark Eldar anymore.
Or
What are they
Drukari,
called?
aren't they?
I
Is
feel
that
like
the
Tau
Drukari?
could sell.
don't
Tau could
sully
bring
the
way more
air
people
with
in
what
if they
they
used
want
them.
to call them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I saw Tau and I'm like, oh my goodness, wait, this faction's so cool. They got robots and these really cool. I saw the Devilfish. I'm like, that's a sick looking tank.
Yeah, that's
I like the
that's what you
infantry.
like,
Like,
tend to
If you go into the
build
lore of the
violence.
Tau, they actually go down the same path as the Horus Heresy, with Farsight rising up
Yeah.
against his empire, and they do
Farsight
nothing
Trilogy
with
was
that.
Great, if anyone's
Like-
read it.
They got and like they're a great faction, but like they'd rather sell you the Orcs and the Tyranids and the Necrons and the Space Marines, like, and that's it. And maybe Chaos if they're feeling nice.
Tau have never been in a edition box.
No, they haven't.
That's a shame. They really
Oh,
should be.
that's sad.
That's a real
I
shame.
literally just had
I
I literally
would
just
say-
had like calculating the numbers. All of the additions just went through my head and was like, they've never been in it. Even
Tyranids,
Eldar.
Necrons, Orcs again, more Tyranids.
It's not
Chaos.
Eldar, is it?
Let me just raise real quick. I just a little what do we call it? It might be a little bit of a tangent, but Why do you think they don't come out with more than one edition starter box? Think about it, right? Like, why not market 4 separate, or 2 separate entryways, but 4 separate factions to be showcased to new players? You've always got Ultramarines or Space Marines, and then you've got either Orcs or Chaos or Necrons or Tyranids. Why don't they have their Space Marines versus Chaos, and then also have a Tau and Orcs one? And then here's the 2 different directions you can go in.
One
Can anybody,
Chaos and
can anybody like formulate a good reason as to why that's a bad idea for them to do?
Because that require effort.
Yes.
Yeah, they would have to put more effort into it.
But it's just another box. They've got plenty of boxes going. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
but that's one more box than they're already doing.
I guess.
They have to make a whole bunch more new models. They can't just include repeat models, because then it's not really good edition starter box, you know?
That doesn't stop
The boxes are not for existing players, it's to draw in new players.
Yeah.
I don't want them to update Tau.
I don't either, for the record. I love all my models.
Have some of the best models out of everything GW make. They're some of the nicest, most customizable, easily posable models. Every single one of their battle suits has ballpoint joints on all of the, on all of their limbs.
Small issue about that is they have the clips to make them monopose, though. So you have to try to make them not monopose. Like when I built my broadside,
you just cut that little knob off that makes it monopose, and you can't. The broadside, to be fair, I wouldn't mind seeing an update to, because that one is very boring to build. I got halfway through building.
I have 3 of them. They look the exact same.
Sat in a box, half built.
You can't even swap the direction the railgun faces. It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Okay,
I want an update to the crisis suits, or just half the price?
Crisis suits. They're more expensive than a tank for less plastic.
Yeah. So this is something that Dingo brought up that I definitely would be like, this is how I would fix it. Bring back some of the older kits of customization.
Oh yes,
update them, and make them customizable again. Keep the monopose stuff for the starter sets, for the new kids getting into it who maybe it's their first ever time and having a normal box might be a bit daunting. So having push fits perfectly fine for beginners. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think it should be the way forward.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They gotta cater to both audiences. I think.
Yeah, so you cater them with the starter set, and then that's the gateway drug to be like, okay, well that's how the starter set looks. But now we're going to customize our models. Like, I think most of us, probably except for you, Nightwave, remember when you had to snip the handle off the bolters to fit them on the guys.
Yes.
Space Marines.
Yep. That was
part of it. It was all part of it back in the day.
I want to make my guys look like my guys.
Yeah.
But then you had the one thing that everyone did was when they had the one arm for the missile pack, they'd put that hand on so it looked like he was blocking his face, and then have a fully extended plasma gun. So he's just like not wanting it to explode.
Yeah.
But I miss that customization. I miss making models look unique, and I mean that's what I like about other systems, and even bolt action. Like I can make my platoon commander look unique. I can make my NCO look unique, even if he's holding a map. It's something, and I think that's what I'm lacking. And I think that's one way to fix it: is update the kits, not make up monopose, but just make them newer. Like I will admit, the new Imperial Guard kits are amazing. Don't want them to be monopose though.
No, they're lovely. Really nice.
Yeah. Okay, so what we've got so far is we've got stop with this monopose obsession, make things more customizable again. Utilize your sub factions properly instead of just focusing on the free poster boys. Yeah. So what else? What else can I think of?
Also on that, I was
3D printing.
Say that again, mate.
Embrace 3D printing.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
In my mini factory, half what you see on there is fantasy, and the other half is bits for Warhammer or proxies.
Yeah.
But so many people use 3D printing not to print an army, but to customize their army.
I know what you mean. To fix, but I think we're trying to fix Games Workshop, not necessarily just turning it into our dream as a consumer, but to fixes. I mean, we've got to kind of still think about what is going to be viable
one
for the
thing
business.
I
whereas
would-
I'm not sure how that works in that case.
Well, do you want something viable for the business that would help? Bring Apocalypse back.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
What is the biggest way of selling a shit ton of models? Apocalypse, baby!
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a damn
Like,
rule set
Nightwing,
for it.
have you
Force
heard?
people to play with
Apocalypse is like the
companies
really
of
really
money.
big scales, right? Where it's
Yes.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
thing was with
3,000+.
Apocalypse. Yeah, but the thing with Apocalypse, how it was before, was if you brought like 200 guardsmen, you had the endless wave detachment for them. So if they died, you just kept bringing them back. If you brought like
that's
this amount of
fun.
Space Marines,
So
you
cool.
had this detachment, and it really encouraged you to have these big, huge armies. And I was
Every
like,
single
wow.
outsider is just immediately wild.
Yeah, but like,
And that,
yeah, you're only
that
going to
sounds-
sell it
that
to
sounds
maybe.
cool.
You're only going to sell it to like, let's say, 10% of people are really going to go heavy into Apocalypse. But that 10% of people are
it's gonna make
paid
you money.
for the guys who maybe buy one box a month.
Mm.
That's where it is. Like
Well, that
80
10% of people is going to be worth about 30% of the purchasing power, because they're going to
Yeah.
be the people buying swathes of boxes at a time to get huge armies to build up, rather than being somebody who's like, okay, I've got my 2,000 points of this army and that's where I'm going to sit. Instead, these are guys who are going to be building armies of 5, 7, 8, 10,000 points to bring to an Apocalypse game.
And the other thing I think I would change, and this is going back to how things used to be, make GW stores hobby stores.
Yeah.
I think we can all admit
Yeah.
the biggest way we ever spent money was sitting in that store for so long going, oh, I keep looking at that one box on the shelf. Ah, sod it, I'll finally get it. I've been wanting
knowing
it
you
for
had a
ages.
place to do it too, or being dropped off there by your parents to sit all day. I mean, the highlights of my bloody years was the very few times I'd get to go to the Games Workshop and sit in there painting some absolute garbage little Tyranid or something. But it goes into my point. What I want to add here is I think Games Workshop needs to become a company for the people. And what I mean by that is they need to get rid of the fucking shareholders, all this stuff, these guys making decisions, and understand why people like the things that Games Workshop does well, and why people are truly... Why the things that Games Workshop does wrong rub people up the wrong way. And I think the reason is because of the inherent nature what they sell. Now, people say, oh, all companies do this, that, or the other when we're talking about the bad things that Games Workshop does. But most of these other companies are just making, I don't know, fucking bowls and plates or car parts, or selling you fucking, I don't know, whatever it is. But Games Workshop, they sell games. They sell fun. They sell memories between you, your friends, your family. They sell you very often the biggest source of joy in your life. If you're somebody whose greatest interest is Warhammer in life, you're kind of like married to Games Workshop in a way. It's very personal, in which a lot of things aren't. Think about like how much time and enthusiasm and thought and energy and love and passion is sunk into somebody's Warhammer collection over the period of their life, all the games that they play with their family members, all those cherished memories. And that's why when they turn around and grab you by the bollocks and squeeze you again and again, and they find another way to tighten that fucking grip on you every single week, and really kind of just talk down to you, retcon things, and just go, oh, that's how it always was, get with it, you fucking scrub whale. That's what rubs people up the wrong way about Games Workshop. It's not necessarily the business practice, it's the way that they've got you by the bollocks, and they know they do. And they do it anyway. So that's one of the main reasons why it sucks so much with the way that they operate. So I think they need to recognise that and understand that we need to get rid of this massive inherent need to always be up in the sales. We need to get rid of the reason that is, and that is the shareholders. They need to fuck that off and become a company of the people again. And the prices need to fucking come down. They just do. They just
Didn't do what I wanted to do.
Yes. This is all true. This is true.
Well, GW needs to go back to. I've got this white dwarf on my shelf. GW needs to go back to the days of having white dwarfs where they would show you how to build a towel tank out of a Head and Shoulders shampoo bottle and cardboard. I've got the white dwarf which shows you how to do that. You take a bottle of Head and Shoulders shampoo, put some cardboard on it, and shape it, and that was the tank that you were supposed to use. They need to go back to
fun.
Yeah,
They used to facilitate fun.
and they used to instruct you on how to do these extra things. Whereas now, instead of telling you how to make the game fun yourself, they'll say, "Oh, look, you can buy this from us to make the fun."
And yeah,
they've taken.
They just need to get rid of the shareholders. That's the biggest thing, really.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what
They
I'd
need to
get
go
rid
back
of the fucking
to
shareholders.
Customer first, not shareholders first, because it's
And
not
I
going to be
think-
sustainable for them.
And I
They
think
went shareholders first as a priority because they had no other competition. Whereas now, other companies have come forwards and they do have competition. People are bleeding away from them and moving on to other, to Warlord Games, for instance. So they're going to have to do a turnabout to separate themselves from just going purely for the shareholders.
think about it. I mean, what's the end goal for them at this point? Where are they trying to get to? I mean, how far can you continue to increase prices and price out? Let's be fair. I mean, most of the people they're going to attract into this hobby are younger people, right? I would imagine the most amount of people is younger kids who are finding out about it for the first time. Most adults already kind of have heard of Warhammer, and they either like it or they don't, and they've usually made their decision by their 20s. But it's mostly the kids that are getting into it, and surely they're pricing out very many households and people who are bringing up kids in this modern age. Everything's getting more expensive, and now this basically game of toy soldiers is becoming so expensive now that it's like, what is your aim with this? How far can you take this? How far can you increase these prices over time? What's the end goal? This is something I just don't understand. I mean, are we looking at a position in like 10 years from now where it costs 150 quid for a box? I mean, who's buying that at that point? I mean, what's their target demographic like in 10 years? It makes you wonder whether they even think that they're going to be a miniature company or a tabletop gaming company at that point. Maybe at that point they think they're going to be able to transverse into just being an IP seller and an IP holder, and they're going to make series and whatever it is. But it's just fuck. They just need to remember what they are, and they sell toy soldiers.
They want to do that.
Yeah, I think honestly, if they could, they would just sell IPs and then not make any models and just have someone else do that.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's honestly what it feels like. Like, it feels like they feel ashamed of their own fan base even, but it's like, well, unfortunately,
they seem ashamed of their own history, I think.
Yeah, and it's
they
like,
seem ashamed of what their company used to be and what they used to produce.
They just want to be Marvel.
And they want everyone to forget about that. They want everyone to forget, like, all the old stuff they used to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we've covered a few bits. I think we could go on this one for a fucking long more, a much more. We could say a lot more shit about this.
We have more topics though.
We do have more topics, so let's move on to the next one now. That's been a good one, boys. Okay, next one is 3D printing, threat or flop. Now, I will admit, I've worded that in an inflammatory manner. Obviously, we know it hasn't flopped. But we were talking about this, Runaway 5 and Mr. Tweed, we were talking about this in a private call the other night. So the crux of this question really is, when 3D printing was coming about, we all kind of knew, okay, one day we're going to be able to print miniatures, that's great. But when it first turned up on the scene, it was nowhere near that point. Eventually, it got to the point where we were able to print stuff that looks like a miniature. And then it got to the point where, that's looking like a nice miniature, but you can still see the lines. Soon enough, we're going to get 3D printers that are going to print stuff, and you're not going to be able to tell, and not going to be able to see the lines. And then we're like, well, what happens when we get there?
Kind of already
We are there.
Oh, we are there.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
we are
My-
absolutely
so
there.
I've got
But
a.
hold on, just let me finish this.
Sorry.
4 or 5 years ago, we were like, "Oh, we're about to get to the point where they're totally smooth and it's going to be indecipherable from Games Workshop models." Wow! So 3D printing it is a real threat to Games Workshop. In 5 years, is Games Workshop even going to be the same thing? Now it's 5 years on from there. So what's the take back from where we actually landed in terms of where it actually is?
So, how many people here actually have experience with 3D printing?
Okay.
Because
I
have
do
a
not
lot.
yet. I don't yet, but I did just stumble upon a file that may or may not contain pretty much the entirety of the Tau range. So check back on with me in a few weeks, and we'll see.
And it falls for
Oh, yeah.
absolutely every army.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and
Right.
I see the appeal. Like already, like I look at the tank I want to get, and it's $80, or I could 3D print it using my brother's printer for maybe $5 worth of materials, and it's the same thing. And that's exactly. It's just
And
there's
especially
not
with how
a whole
often the
lot of
Tau
reason.
tanks are out of stock because they just haven't bothered to print more.
There's and like I wanted for a while to get a Firesight marksman team for my list, but I've since removed it from my list because it's never been on stock for my entire 8 months. But like I could print my own, so there's that, and it's just
It is definitely a hobby on its own, which makes it not as accessible as a lot of people might believe.
Yes. I think people were imagining that they'd just be getting a 3D printer and stuff would be flying off like A4 sheets of paper. Obviously, it's not. It's not like that.
Yeah,
as we
exactly.
know.
No way.
As someone who very much 3D prints nearly everything I can,
Same.
even French Crusade, which was sold as an STL, no physical, just all STLs, but you could just 3D print whatever you want. Even they went to plastic,
Yeah, they did.
and even
And there
for
was a
me,
bit of a controversy when they did.
it was, and I'm not gonna get into that
But
because that's a rabbit hole.
I don't blame the company for doing what they did. I think it's actually the right choice in the long term.
It is, and that's kind of the thing is people don't realize how much 3D printing is a hobby in of itself. Like you said, Mr. Faraway.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like, I can print a tank for like £2 worth of resin, but on top of that, that's 4 hours of my time. That's a lot of ibuprofen alcohol I have to use to clean it down. It's multiple sets of rubber gloves because as soon as I've touched something with resin, I don't want to spread resin everywhere. It's toxic fumes, so it's air purifiers I have to spend money on. And I have to keep it in the shed outside, which luckily it's heated and has power.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have that room, and you can't exactly keep a resin printer in an apartment.
Or the willingness.
Which a lot of my friends who I have sold certain files to, I won't say what because I do not have a commercial license for it, so I will keep it vague. I've sold it to them still with slight profit margins for myself, being a little bit greedy. But that's like, I've sold you a profit, but that's going towards the new alcohol I need to get a new set of gloves, money in the kitty for more resin.
FBI, open up.
But it is a hobby in itself, but I don't think it's ever going to be prevalent enough to overtake plastic. Plastic and resin of mold injections are so industry standard and are the only way to do it on large scale. You can't do what I do, hobby printing, unless I have like 30 printers all going at the same time. There's no industrial scaling for 3D printing. The only industrial scaling is plastic injection molding.
So that's a great point. That's very well fleshed out. So there's another slight nuanced wing to this whole thing. So there's 3D printing yourself, which is all fine and dandy. As we've said, it's not as accessible as maybe we thought we had. I'd like to know how AI is affecting that in terms of making it easier for people to set things up and stuff like that. But there's also the whole industry of 3D printed miniatures. Like, you don't necessarily have to 3D print it yourself, right? So a lot of people are thinking, oh well, you're going to get, you know, cool stuff that looks exactly like a Space Marine, and you're going to pay way less money for it, and then who the hell's going to buy anything from Games Workshop anymore, right? That was kind of the thinking of a lot of people. But I'd like to I'm going to have to reiterate one of my points I said earlier. This will be a separate video anyway. So it's that the miniatures available on the 3D printed market, whether you go on Forge, whatever it is, Etsy to buy your miniatures from, I do often find that these 3D designed things by third-party designers lack that iconic Games Workshop design language that makes you feel like, oh, this is a Warhammer model. Many times when I've looked for stuff that I want to use as the infantry or proxies in my armies, I've been unable to find something I'm truly happy with, because again, Games Workshop has that next level of design and sculpt that is, I'm still not really seeing anything that's exactly up to that same quality on the 3D market. So that's another way in which it hasn't had the exact same impact in that fashion. Obviously there is lots of stuff to be said about people 3D printing things that Games Workshop simply doesn't make casts for, and that's probably where it comes in. But again, that's not really taking business away from Games Workshop. That's just stepping into a hole where there wasn't one. But no, go make your point you were going to say, Mr. Tweed.
So another point I just want to latch on to what you're saying about not finding things exact. I think about the closest I've ever seen anyone get to Warhammer adjacent is the Maker's Cult Valor Core. They are so close to Games Workshop that it is unbelievable. And I've even managed to trick a few GW employees into them thinking that it is actual GW stuff.
Oh, you cheeky boy.
But there was someone who, I think his name was like Alpine something.
What's it called? Sorry, mate, I'll pull it
up. Valor Core by the Maker's Cult.
Maker's Cult. I'm sure I've seen that around. They sound very familiar.
So when I was trying to get back into Warhammer Krieg, they were the Krieg models I used. Because they look phenomenal.
Interesting.
But there was someone called Alpine something. He basically did Cave Shock Troops when they first came out, but he did them as like 1-to-1. But we can kind of guess what happened. Got DMCA'd.
So one of the main sweeping DMCA campaigns in GW have done.
This is something we've also mentioned in the previous thing of they have to protect their copyright. Sometimes they go too far with the whole Warhammer War Machine
if you're watching the stream, for people, I've just set down a picture of what Mr. Tweed has just talked about, the Valor Core.
Valor Core, it looks so good. They are so close to Krieg, it is unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are really cool. And this is one of the newest.
Nice.
They've just gone so much better.
Yeah,
but I think the main reason... I think the main reason we don't see a lot of good Warhammer-like models is because, unfortunately, the community knows that as soon as something like that comes out, they will strike them. And I think that's kind of the problem, is we're never going to see great Warhammer alternative prints because it is the sword of Damocles hovering over everyone's head who attempts it. And with how raw that Games Workshop has been lately, like even that Italian guy was being sued by them because he was making things in JSON. I mean, the DMCA takedowns were getting so extreme that it was like even like tokens or dice rollers or anything somewhat adjacent was being hit, and I think that scares people into doing it.
They did an AI thing where anything that was tagged with Warhammer or 40k adjacent, so people got DMCAs for having sets of dice which could theoretically be used for, to play in a game, or it was the stupidest, most silly things ever. But to build on what you were saying, it links into what I was saying earlier with the Black Templars all looking a bit too over-designed in the Tau 3D prints, all looking too samurai. Like what I was saying very, very early on in the live stream.
Okay, well...
Sorry, I was going to interrupt.
No, that's fine, mate. Go for it. So overall, it's not had the same level of impact, but of course, it's definitely had an impact unto its own for sure.
But the 3D printing community has exploded. Like there are so many more. Even in the last couple of years, I would happily say like the amount of STLs and the amount of STLs I find is ludicrous. But once again, it will never compete with large-scale injection molding.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, that's great. So that topic's pretty well wrapped up. Plenty of good things said about that. So we've only got 2 more topics. This is the second to last. We've managed to make it to the end, so that's great. We might just hit 3
One
hours.
last thing.
Oh, go for it.
One last thing on the 3D printed stuff that I think is it's a reason why a lot of people haven't gotten into like the 3D printed market, that you don't realise until you buy 3D printed miniatures, is the actual building of a model that's 3D printed is a huge fact. Because they don't come with instructions. There's no instructions. You're kind of just piecing together bits. You know, trying
it's not that same. You don't get that same experience that people are used to with building a miniature, then, do you? That's a good point.
No, you don't. And one thing which GW does really, really well is their instruction booklets. Because I've bought quite a few World War II like ships. You know, I've got Tirpitz, I've got Hood, I've got Bismarck and Yamato. All of them in plastic kits. And they came with instructions, but they're not clear. And it's not easy to do, and that makes it not fun. But if it was GW, it's laid out in a completely different way. It's all step by step, bit by bit. Their instructions are so much clearer. And I think a big part of why 3D printing hasn't taken on, from the customer standpoint, is genuinely because it's just such a fact to actually build anything that you bought. It has
something to be said about the feel of the resin of the miniatures as well. They're being a lot more brittle. They don't feel the same.
And it's probably going to break.
Yes,
it's going to break. And it's once it's broken, it's broken.
Just print a new one at the point.
But there's also that thing. Relic, I bought you that model, that 3D printed model last Christmas.
Yeah,
it came still covered in wet resin, in like stuff. I had to wash it after it arrived. So that's another thing as well from the customer point of view that you have to deal with sometimes. I've got scammed out of money from people just not sending resin and 3D printed models that were, you know, that I bought on Etsy, and the page looked very reputable. You know, I checked it out, never got it. You know, bought something from that guy unknowingly again a couple months later. Didn't get that model either. You know, I reported the page, but because of Etsy's thing, they've got a very weird system which made it so that nothing can happen to him. So there's a lot of, I think there's actually quite a lot of very small things that seem insignificant or that you wouldn't think about until you actually get into the process itself, that holds back a lot of the 3D printing industry from taking off.
So, on the side of brittleness, resin is notoriously brittle. I've had it before, I've dropped a model like from maybe 6 inches and it's just completely snapped. I've had other times where I've dropped it onto the floor and it's been perfectly fine. But I know that they are doing some more plastic resin, is kind of a new mixture they're using. That's a lot more flexible. So it's just like the whole thing, like it's going to advance, and all of these problems we have now in maybe 5 years we won't have.
Well, I think we'll come into this in the next one of the next topics here, but let's just hop on to the next one, because I think we're in a general agreement that 3D printing is not the Games Workshop killer we thought it was going to be. It's just another option.
It's a nice alternative. Cheap if you're willing to put up with all the problems with it.
Alternative, not replacement. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, next topic is... Oh, same one. Wargaming. What's missing? What is currently just
page rules
missing? Say that again, boys.
1 page rules.
1 page rules. Yeah. Well, don't get me started about 1 page rules, mate. I'm a fucking 1 page rules shill. I'll sit here all day. But yeah, what's missing in Wargaming? Like, what is there that like should be there and there just isn't? You're just not getting it from any one source. Can anybody think of anything?
Companies that provide real competition to GW.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is a good one.
I mean, even though Warlord is really, really good, it's doing what GW does sideways. It's not trying to compete with them, it's just trying to do not what they do.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
We need somebody who's like got a ridiculous amount of money to just like buy up something and just go fuck you.
But we can't forget like
better.
GW has a level of prestige and heritage about it. Pedigree is more the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
I think it's decades of lore and customer base they've built up. You can't compete with more than 500 books of lore.
No.
Well, you really can't.
You gotta approach it a different way.
Like the 80s?
Yeah.
Like the late 80s, was it? Like, you can't build up a company and have that. You know, yeah. It's going to take over a decade for any other company to be able to compete with that, and it's going to cost them, frankly, millions of pounds to be able to, hundreds of thousands of pounds at least, to get the same level of lore and depth and sort of reverence within the public eye.
I'm honestly, this is unlike me, but I'm kind of drawing a blank on this one. I'm not sure.
Well, it's mostly things that could be better and not things that are missing.
Yeah, that's what it is, mate. That's what I'm thinking in my head.
Yeah. There's nothing like truly just not there. Like everything's there. Just sometimes you just wish those things that are there were just a little better.
Like, I'd love to say narrative play, but that exists. It's just
Yeah.
you don't see it.
Maybe it's not as focused on, and it's not as focused on as it could be, but it's an option.
Yes.
You just have to be
Well,
willing
I
to explore it.
I think everything we want is somewhere out there, but the problem is it's all a bit too discombobulated.
Yeah.
It's scattered to the 7 corners of the earth, and it's just really hard to try to bring things together. And I think that's what we're missing, is a way to kind of just have everything in, not really in one place, but everything be a lot more open and a lot more available.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot more
that's kind of,
easy to find.
that's what I'm kind of feeling right now as I try to think about it, really. That pretty much nails it on the head, to be honest. Yeah, hard to say. Right, look, guys, let's just roll it into the last topic of the video then. So, future predictions. Do we have any overarching predictions of what the landscape of Wargaming is going to look like in 5, 10 years, 20 years time?
It's gonna get even more expensive.
Yeah, that's apparent. The whole world's going to get more expensive. I think with all the companies that we're seeing now coming out with war games, I think in 5 years there's going to be more people doing it, because they're seeing like the successes of these guys who did it 5 years ago, so they're going to try doing it now. And I think that's going to get the ball rolling for a lot more war games coming out. But then what's going to happen is only the few who are prestigious enough and actually made an impact are going to be the ones staying, and going to be the ones who are slowly starting to become the next big dogs to start overtaking it. It's the same thing happening in the video game industry at the moment. all these big companies are losing their prestige and their pedigree. Now these smaller companies are up and coming, and maybe in 5-10 years might take over.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be plenty of people that don't care about the decades of lore and are looking for something a little easier, more approachable stuff.
Well, we're seeing that, aren't we? We've seen the landscape open up, and we've seen all these different options become available, and not just available, but viable, you know? We're in the age of information now, where one of the big things is you wanted to stick to Warhammer 40k because it was so well supported by media, there was so much stuff around it. Nowadays, I mean, you just create something like Trench Crusade, and within a year, I mean, look how fleshed out that is in terms of its lore and everything, so... Yeah, as smaller indie settings are now not only accessible and not only more plentiful, but things are becoming more and more easy to access and get content for. So, yeah, no, that definitely tracks. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, as for something else, I mean, definitely it's going to get more expensive. Now, I think 3D printing's probably going to become the main way we get models in the future.
I think for up-and-coming starting companies, it's definitely going to be the way to do it. Because
yeah,
how
it's a
much
great way to start out for them.
Yeah. Because I mean, what, an LNU 16K resolution is what, about £500?
Yeah, and there's like way cheaper machines that will totally get you a starting army.
You don't need a 16K resolution printer. I just got that because I was like, I want really nice prints. I'm just course a lot. But you can get a 3D printer for maybe less than £100 now. It's ludicrous how cheap they have gotten.
Yeah, and it will still get you decent models.
Yeah, but if you just want test the models to bring a concept to life, it's great. And I definitely see 3D printing being the way that up-and-coming people make models and then sell them is just through 3D printing, because it's easier if you're a small company just to make made to order.
I'm going to make quite a dystopian prediction, and I'm going to reckon that a great deal of wargaming is going to become, I mean, I'm talking 10 years in the future, it's going to become digital. I mean, look at Bolt Action. That's just got a digital game made about it.
Yeah, and to
Tabletop Simulator.
I play Bolt Action on Tabletop Simulator quite a bit.
I think.
Actual tabletop gaming will get more of a cult following.
Yes, well, this is what I was going to say.
You did another takedown of all of the 40k and Warhammer mods, which are available for Tabletop Simulator. I mean, they will pretty much all back up within a day or two, because you're not going to be able to stop mods. But I think that they're gonna try and make their own Tabletop Simulator, because as a business practice, it makes a lot of sense for them to do that. Especially if the Bolt Action one is successful, then, you know, if they see that becoming a decent success, then I can't see them not doing it.
I think.
I mean, look at Black Library. They've already copied Audible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my thoughts with that, with raising that point is, I think Warhammer's going to become so expensive that it's going to come. I mean, it's already kind of, they like to tell you, oh, it's a luxury thing. I think it's going to really become that. I honestly do. I think it's going to become only people with really middle class to upper middle class incomes only are going to be able to actually afford to collect the game and actually play it in real life. Most people who are interested generally in the game are going to be playing it on things like Tabletop Simulator or whatever it exists in that capacity. I think it's going to become digital, and it might even just become a kind of video game. I think another thing that's going to push it in this direction is just the way that they're e-sporting the game and wanting to make it into this tournament thing. And I think that a way of making that game so it's like super precise and there's no like human error in it is that they're going to kind of make it into an actual digital game. I think there's going to be at least some element of that in the future. That's my prediction for the future anyway.
That's a good safe bet, probably.
Anybody else got one?
I'd like to believe it's going to get more affordable and that it's going to grow. Is it? But no, I'd like to believe that, but unfortunately, I don't think I can.
Hold on, let me just have a look out my window. No flying pigs, so I don't think so, mate.
Well, saying that, do we think it could get more affordable with the competition that's coming up? So other companies are coming up making more models themselves, and
As people who keep paying for it, they're gonna squeeze every penny out of you.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, GW's been able to get expensive as it is because they weirdly haven't actually had to play at the capitalism game very much. They haven't had much competition of other companies selling stuff, which has really competed with them. Whereas if multiple other companies are going to come up, they are at least going to be competing with each other, so they're going to be cheaper than GW, and they're going to be trying to undercut the other companies around them. So, does anybody think that it's possible that there's going to be enough of those which are viable and cheaper than GW, or are we just going to see,
I think it's entirely possible. But I think if other ones keep growing like they have, I think it's entirely possible.
Well, I just have this feeling that as long as Games Workshop produces miniatures and Warhammer, they're going to dig their heels in the ground knowing that they are Warhammer. People are always going to just want to play Warhammer. And as long as they have that, they're never going to recede their prices. And they're just going to... They've always wanted to market themselves as the premium product. So, yeah, it's hard to envision that at least in the next 5 to 10 years. Maybe whatever, but yeah. But no.
I mean, even when sales declined, they didn't make it cheaper. They changed strategy. They decided to change how the story was written, and they brought back Primarchs, made it a lot more, or a lot less grimdark, but not cheaper, never cheaper.
Never cheaper. Anybody else got any predictions? Anyone else?
They might finally try something original with Space Marines, or is that a crazy statement?
That's crazy. Just get out of it.
Yeah.
The original thing was the primary.
They might give Space Marines a character.
Something original.
they might focus on something that isn't the Ultramarines for more than like 2 promotional images.
They would never.
Just you get ready for when they release the Gilliman.
Again, Dark Angels. We've got Dark Angels in Dawn of War 4.
I heard
Yeah, no, but see, you're missing the... Oh, you haven't played the game yet? The plot twist at the end is that Robute Gilliman shows up and saves everyone because they almost lose because they're not Ultramarines.
That's gay.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Actually,
I'm not going to check that, I believe you. Very credible.
This is... trust me, my uncle works at Games Workshop. I can confirm this. This is true.
I believe you. That's canon.
My uncle is James.
Another new Gilliman model, so everybody's going to buy that as well.
Yep. No, it's going to be another Calgar model, actually.
Alright,
I
guys,
wish.
well, you fucking heard it here first on the Relics of War channel, these predictions. Let's stamp them in the sand, and we'll come back to these in 10 years' time when my son is 10 years old and I'm fucking 38, and Jesus Christ, I'll be well past it at that point. But guys, no, thanks for hopping on, guys. I'm just going to do a little rundown before we turn this off. So I've been Relics of War. This is the Relics of War YouTube channel. This is part of our community Discord. Everybody who is in this is in the community Discord, and if you fancy hopping in for any of these kind of conversations, drop into Discord. I don't know what else to say. We are affiliated with Red October Games. That is the cheapest.
You are affiliated.
You're affiliated. I ain't getting paid nothing, man.
Yeah, well, I'm not getting paid anything either.
You guys get paid.
Yeah. But no, the channel, the channel which is me, is affiliated with Red October Games. So that means you can go through the link on the channel and get 25% off all of your Warhammer Games Workshop and hobby goods. That is literally the cheapest on the planet. You can't get cheaper than that. It also supports the channel and gives us a little kickback and gives me access to miniatures for wholesale costs, which is very nice. But other than that, guys, I've been Relics of War. Thank you very much for tuning in, and say goodbye, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Take it easy, boys.